thought a minute. Basket.
It's going to be hurled.
From baseball in that regard. In baseball, because of the game, you may have 40 at-bats in a game, and the other team may only get 31 at-bats. So you've had 9 more chances to create something in baseball. And baseball is always uneven because of the way the game is played in terms of offensive opportunities. Basketball isn't. It's a matter of doing with your opportunities something more than the other team does. And Michigan did that with us at the start of the ball game to put us in a position where we could find ourselves almost out of the ball game before it had even gotten to the halftime. So the key in that game was our getting from an eventual 10-point deficit to a 2-point deficit by the half. Then the same thing almost happened to us at the beginning of the second half when we got 9 down and we got out of that and went on to win. All right. In the Illinois game, because of our starts over the 5 previous games to Illinois, we really emphasized the kind of start that we thought we had to have at both ends of the floor. And we got off to a very good start. I think we were ahead 22-8, maybe something like that, very early. And then went on from there to go ahead by as much as 22 in the first half. Now, what we've tried to do in this ball game today is put an equal emphasis on the kind of start that we want, as well as the kind of start that we want in the second half. So we'll just have to see. We got the start against Illinois. We need to have that same kind of start today, but we need to have a carryover into the second half that enables us to do the same thing with the start of the second half.
All right, we'll be back with more after we pause for the 60-second timeout.
Do you have water market today? Some banks are better than others. At Bright National Bank, we think our Visa and MasterCard products are the best around. Why?
Unit. Puritan Soft Water turns clothes whiter and makes dishes sparkle. Puritan Soft Water keeps your skin smooth and your hair shining. Puritan has over 40 models to choose from. Puritan Water Conditioning, 216 Lafayette Avenue, Crawfordsville. Phone 362-6340. Puritan, another name for soft water.
Some home equity credit makes people uneasy, but not equity reserve.
Where do you want to eat tonight?
How about the Lantern Room on the...
Oh, we're still getting some more information. Responsible people who use common sense and good judgment. Right now at National City Bank, you can receive 8.25 APR and no closing cost. Appraisal fee may be assessed. So stop by a nearby National City Banking office to apply for your equity reserve credit line. Then relax. National City Bank, going the distance for you at all Montgomery County locations, an equal housing lender.
Alan Henderson injury, what's the status as far as his knee and the problems that he might have to endure?
Well, his knee will just be an ongoing thing, Don. We're going to try and do whatever we can to get him back playing whenever it's possible for him to do so, if in fact that possibility does develop. So we'll just have to wait and see what kind of progress is made relative to the swelling in the knee and where he goes in the next several days till we can make a determination as to just where we are with it.
Coach, as far as today's ball game is concerned, what does this do from a personnel standpoint with your own basketball team? How do you handle things?
Well, we just handle things like we always handle things. I mean, we are reduced by one very good player, and we've got other good players that just have to come in and not individually but collectively make up for the absence of a very good player.
How about the Purdue Boilermakers, Coach? How much different do they look than they did the first time you faced them this year?
Unfortunately, as far as answering your question is concerned, I don't coach the Purdue Boilermakers, so it's hard for me to evaluate just exactly where they are at this point.
All right.
Not being a great fan of theirs, I don't watch them a lot either.
All right, we'll be back with some final thoughts right after we pause for the 60-second timeout.
Hi, this is Willard Scott for True Value. We'd like to wish the Indiana University basketball team, better known as the Hoosiers, a great season. Every college basketball player dreams of becoming a professional, and every do-it-yourselfer wants professional results. Well, the 12-volt professional cordless drill from Master Mechanic can help reach that goal. Variable speeds, electric brake, and just $119.99. For personal service and low prices, bring your family to the True Value family of stores.
University Broadcasting Company is proud to bring you IU basketball. University Broadcasting serves Indiana with the finest in sports radio. University Broadcasting Company operates 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations, including WHHH, Hoosier 96 in Indianapolis, WBWB, B97 in Bloomington, WGCT in Ellettsville, and WAZY, Z96 in Lafayette. University Broadcasting Company is Indiana's radio broadcasting company. Thanks for listening.
Bob, you've talked about getting off to the good start in both halves today. What are some of the other things that you feel are a priority for your basketball team in this game?
Well, I think that any time you're playing a team with a really outstanding player like a Robinson, you've got to be able to do some things to limit what he can do against you. If Robinson runs wild against us, that becomes something that maybe would be insurmountable for us. I think that we've got to be able to take advantage in some cases of our quickness, both offensively and defensively. If we don't utilize that, then we're maybe wasting the thing that should give us the best advantage in the game.
Coach, how about Pat Graham's status? Can he come back and help you at all here at the end of the season?
Well, I think there's a definite possibility that he could do that. I think there's a chance that Pat could come back and play, and again, we just kind of look at that day by day.
Coach, we wish you the best of luck in today's ballgame.
Don, who are you going to start today?
Well, I'm not going to start anybody, but who are you going to start?
Well, I rely on you for that, Don, so I guess we're kind of at an impasse on today's starting lineup.
All right. This has been the Bob Knight pregame show with discussion and commentary on today's game with Purdue. Now this is Don Fischer inviting you to stay tuned for today's game.
Exciting Indiana University basketball on the area sports leader, WNJY Joy 103. Today's game is sponsored by Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler. Pepsi-Cola, gotta have it. And by Jim's Tune-Up Center on 1st Street in Monticello behind Hooks. WNJY Joy 103 is connecting on three-pointers all the time with a full slate of college basketball broadcasts and Carroll and White County High School games too, as called by the award-winning Joy 103 sports team. Sports is always presented professionally here on WNJY Joy 103. Why go anywhere else?
John Thacker brings the ball down for the Monon Railroaders and sets up the offense. 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter in Staggs Gymnasium.
Hello, basketball fans. This is John Westfall of the WNJY sports team. And you know, that's what it might have sounded like on the radio back in December of 1958 when the Monon Railroaders and the Monticello Indians got together to renew their annual rivalry on the hardwood.
Looking for an opening in that tough Monticello defense. Harmon bounces the pass into Pete Runk, and the ball is tipped and stolen by Paul Price. Price throws the outlet to Jeff Smithburn, and here come the Indians on the break. There's a quick pass to the side to John Solomon. He takes the left-handed jumper, and it's good. And the Monticello Indians have built their lead over Monon to 45-33 here with 2:42 remaining in the third quarter.
Wouldn't it be fun to be able to recapture and recreate some of those great moments of the past in White County basketball? Well, now you can by participating in the Memory Lane Sectional Tournament to be held at Twin Lakes the week of March 8th. Players from the communities of Brookston, Buffalo, Chalmers, Idaville, Burnettsville, Monon, Reynolds, Wolcott, Round Grove, and Monticello will again be battling on the hardwood. All players participating must have graduated in 1970 or before. All cheerleaders from the 10 former county schools are encouraged to participate also. Memory Lane Sectional Tournament will also feature a free throw contest and a three-point contest and should be one of the highlights of the current basketball season. The proceeds from the tournament will go to the Fisher Loring Scholarship Fund to benefit senior government students at the 4 White County high schools. So make plans now to lace up the sneakers and play in the Memory Lane Sectional, or simply put on your old school colors and cheer for the hometown team. For further information, contact us here at WNJY. See you at the Memory Lane Sectional in March.
You're listening to Joy 103, where Don Kennedy is your host for Big Band Jump. That's tonight at 6 o'clock here on WNJY.
From the Assembly Hall on the IU campus in Bloomington, this is exciting Indiana University basketball. Today's game is brought to you in part by Indiana Gas. For efficiency, comfort, and a cleaner environment, natural gas is your best energy value season after season. By your local Napa Auto Parts store. Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. By your local Amico Soda Care Repair Centers. By the Hoosier Lottery, where you've got to play to win. By State Farm Insurance and the more than 500 State Farm agents throughout Indiana. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By the real estate professionals of the 121 Century 21 offices in Indiana. By True Value Hardware. Got a tough job? You can do it with True Value Hardware stores. By Tricept Herbicide, PPI weed control that puts you in control. And by Indiana's rural electric cooperatives, consumer-owned for service excellence. Hello again, everybody. This is Don Fischer along with Max Skirvin. This afternoon, Bob Knight's Hoosiers attempt to maintain their unbeaten status in Big Ten play, welcoming their greatest arch rival, the Boilermakers of Purdue University. Ranked number 1 in the nation, Indiana stands 23-2 on the year, and at 12-0 in the conference, holds a 3-game lead over their closest pursuer with just 6 games to go. Purdue is in 4th place at 6-5 in the league with a 15-5 record and are ranked 14th in the country. And Max Skirvin, no matter how good things look, IU must still travel a very treacherous road, and there's no more dangerous destination than this matchup here this afternoon with Purdue.
Don, you're absolutely right about that. This is a very important game for a lot of different reasons, which I'm sure we'll get into before the afternoon is over. But with Indiana down to now needing 3 games for at least a piece of the championship, these home games are vitally important.
And, of course, when you're talking about a rivalry game like this, there's a tremendous amount of emotion that comes into play. At the same time, Indiana has had to expend a tremendous amount of emotion here in the past week or two.
This is a tough game following 2 very tough games in which they took on the teams that were in second place right behind them and won both games, beating Michigan and Illinois, and now they've got a 3rd game. The only advantage they've had, all 3 of them will have been at home.
Well, this all-time series is led by Purdue, 94-67. But since Bob Knight's arrival, Indiana's had the edge with 25 wins to 19, including this year's first meeting, 74-65 in West Lafayette. We'll be back to talk more about today's game in a moment, including a chat with Gene Cady. But first, let's pause for the 60-second network timeout.
This is the sound of the most dreaded vehicle on the road today, the tow truck. Because when you hear it, you know it's going to cost you. So don't cut corners. Get the best parts money can buy. Napa. Parts built to meet or exceed original standards. And avoid the tow truck. Napa. Because there are no unimportant parts.
In the Hoosier State. State Farm is there, keeping in touch with Indiana families. When you have an insurance claim, you want the coverage to be there. That's why State Farm agents are there with a free family insurance checkup, keeping in touch to help keep you protected. Auto, home, life, and health, wherever you live, from Merrillville to Madison.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, back once again at the Assembly Hall as we get set for basketball this afternoon. Max, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the injury situation with IU. Alan Henderson out for today's ball game, definitely, and for the near future, it would appear. There is a definite day-to-day situation in his case, but it does not look good right now with a knee injury suffered in practice on Friday.
One of those incredible injuries that comes without anybody really bumping him or anything else. He just goes up and comes down and hurts the knee, but nevertheless, they've got to face it. I think what they've got to do is just play this one game at a time, worry only about today, not what happens down the future. But with him out of here, it certainly changes the whole complexion of this game, changes what you might be doing for both teams. So there really are a lot of unknowns here today.
Well, we did have a chance to talk with Gene Cady prior to today's ball game about the Boilermakers of Purdue. Here's our conversation.
Gene, if you would just talk for a moment about your basketball team. You played a couple of really good ball games in your last couple of outings. Do you feel that they're coming around at this point in the season?
Yes, I think we've made some improvement, especially offensively. Of course, we're going to get a great test today, and this will be the toughest test of the year probably for us defensively. Every time we play IU, especially when they have seniors and they have their quickness, they're able to do some things that makes you do things that you don't want to. For example, at our place, we panicked and shot the ball quick, and I think that was just a matter of us understanding if you shoot the ball quick against great teams, you're going to get beat and get beat badly. So we got to playing so bad, we got Indiana to play bad with us. It's the only reason we got to hang in there.
Gene, what about your ball club at this point as far as Glenn Robinson is concerned? He has been such a major factor in your improvement this year.
Well, I think what has been good about Glenn is he's very team-oriented, like I told you the first time we played, and he's learning now to screen, get people open, and what he's realizing when he screens and gets people open, then basically he'll get open. So I think he's starting to learn to blend in with the offense a lot better. He had one of those rare games at Wisconsin and made some tough shots, and that helped us, but he's kind of like Calvert was against us the first time. Calvert made some very tough shots and played extremely well, and Glenn was a lot like that against Wisconsin. But he's learning. He's a very coachable kid, so as time goes on, even this next 2 or 3 weeks, he ought to get better yet, I hope.
Indiana obviously has an injury problem. Alan Henderson will be out today for sure. Does that change your game plan at all?
No, I don't think so. I just, if there's any advantage that we might have, and usually we don't take advantage of something like this, that maybe their rebounding will be a little weaker, but other than that, I don't think, it's going to be a big difference because they have so much pride in what they do. And a lot of times, as you well know, when it's an injury, everybody else just plays that much harder, takes up the slack, and especially with the type of team they have with very good quickness on defense, and they all are very good shooters, so they're really not going to miss Allen other than his rebounding to a big extent. And I'm sure his shot blocking will hurt him some, but I don't see it as a detriment to him too much. They've got too many seniors, too much pride, and they're playing together very well.
How do you feel about defensive play? Will that be the key in the ballgame today, you think?
Yeah, I think whoever reacts to others' defense the best is going to win the game. I'm sure that our kids understand if they do like they did at our place, it will get beat worse here because it's the fact it's on their court. So I think if we can play solid defense on them and hope that Calvert didn't have the type of game that he did against us, that we might be in the game. But if he has that type of game again, I'm not sure anybody in the country could stop him.
Gene, we appreciate you talking to us as always. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
And that is Gene Cady as we talked to him prior to today's ball game about this upcoming contest this afternoon. And Max, I think that the one thing about Purdue, they have come along. They're playing better basketball now than they were earlier. And anytime you're playing as you get along in the schedule, obviously that gets some maturity and experience for your ball club. And boy, Glenn Robinson has taken advantage of it.
He is a whale of a basketball player. Everybody knew this once he came out of high school, that he was going to be a whale of a college player. He certainly has not let anybody down there. I think the thing that's happening, perhaps, Don, is not that Glenn Robinson is playing so well, but some of the other players are starting to pick up a lot of things. They're getting some supporting play now from other players, and they're starting to shoot a little bit better.
Indiana's situation, Max, today, they start 3 guards, it would appear. Damon Bailey, Greg Graham, and Chris Reynolds will start this ball game with the front line of Matt Nover and Calvert Cheney. They're going to be very small out there.
They are, and they've used that lineup in the past, so it's not something that they haven't used before. I think probably as a significant thing that's going to happen is that they just have nobody to go to if they get into any kind of foul trouble, because we're now playing with 8 players, and as a result, if either Nover or Cheney were to get into some foul trouble, Evans is going to come in and help one of their 2, but you just can't have 2 big guys now getting into any trouble.
One of the things about Indiana's performances of late, Max, has been the fact that they have gotten excellent play off the bench. Todd Leary, Brian Evans, both have come in and done absolutely excellent jobs, and you can't take away anything from Pat Knight. When he's been in there, he's done a good job, too, and maybe today Pat Graham might see action once again.
Well, that would be something if he were to play, but you just can't count too much on him. But it's going to be a test for them to see how well they can respond to this kind of a situation.
Well, the color guard marching out on the floor right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to have the playing of our national anthem. And, of course, our national anthem as we get set for action here this afternoon at the Assembly Hall. We'll be back to talk more about this ball game and look at the starting lineups in a moment. But first, let's pause for the 60-second timeout. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
I stopped in a muffler shop the other day to see about their so-called guaranteed muffler service. What I saw was this guy offering me the same muffler he had just put on a 1959 Packard. Come on, not all cars are the same, and neither are their muffler systems. A muffler and exhaust system is an important part of your car's performance. At Jim's Tune-Up Center, their muffler service might cost you a little more, but when you leave, you're going to have a Big A muffler designed especially for your car or light truck, and it's going to be warranted for as long as you own that car. That's Jim's Tune-Up Center in Monticello on 1st Street under the big smokestack.
You know, it seems like these days it's not easy to find a good home-cooked meal at an affordable price. That is, unless you've been to Kim's Kitchen. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Kim's Kitchen can have a hot, home-cooked meal ready for you in minutes at a price you can appreciate. Kim's Kitchen is a friendly place where you can always find a clean table and timely service. And the best part, a home-cooked meal that you don't have to cook. Try Kim's Kitchen today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Kim's Kitchen just south of Monticello, next to the Madam Carroll.
We get set for action this afternoon. It's Indiana, the Purdue Boilermakers, this great arch rivalry battle. But, Max, as important in this ball game today as anything is how the Hoosiers play without Alan Henderson, number one, and number two, if they can continue their unbeaten status in the Big Ten.
That's, of course, something they're all striving for, to remain unbeaten. They've got a great home stand going here, 28 straight games at this point. They don't want to see that get broken. Obviously, they don't talk about the rankings, but everybody enjoys seeing them in the number one spot. So there's a lot on the line for Indiana, and whether they can continue to be that type of a ball club, only time's going to tell. It's just really an unknown here now.
Obviously, the NCAA basketball tournament is a major feature of the post-game or postseason play, and Indiana's certainly going to make that field. Whether or not they will be number one or not seed-wise is a real question mark. Again, it all depends on how they finish up this campaign, but I think we're all getting ahead of ourselves in that vein. But we must point out that the possibilities are certainly strained somewhat when you have a player of Henderson's stature go down, and it's very difficult. Obviously, from a coaching standpoint, Bob Knight can't say a lot about it with his players. He say, hey, boys, we just got to go out there and play. We can't worry about Allen being or not being here.
Well, Indiana was absolutely on the verge of having an absolute lock in starting, well, I would assume, in Indianapolis. They certainly were going to be a number one seed the way things were going, because it appeared that not only did they have a chance to win the Big Ten with not a great deal of effort, they could win it maybe unbeaten. Now, of course, they've still got to win 3 games to get a co-championship out of it, and those 3 look like they're going to be a little bit harder to win than they might have been in the past had they have had their full complement of players.
Purdue, on the other hand, is a ball club that continues to build. They're 15-5 on the season, 6-5 in Big Ten play. But, Max, this ball club has gotten better, and there doesn't look to be any unlikelihood that they wouldn't get a bid in the NCAA this year.
Well, I would think so, that they're going to get a bid to the NCAA. Certainly the quality of the teams in the Big Ten would suggest to you that they rank right up there with at least the top 64, and, of course, that's basically what we're talking about, although that's a little bit of a misnomer in that there are some automatic bids through tournaments, so not always are all 64 top teams included.
Obviously, there's a lot of speculation as to how many Big Ten teams might go this year.
There are. It looks like there might be as many as 6 again this year. It may be stretching it a bit to get to 7 this year, as they have done, I guess, on one other occasion. Of course, I heard somebody today talking about, I think on ESPN earlier this morning, was promoting the fact that maybe some of these lesser-known teams ought to be recognized rather than the 6 teams out of a conference. But I think that's going to be hard to disagree with. That the Big Ten is a tough conference, as are some other conferences, and certainly the top 6 or 7 teams out of those conferences have got to be reckoned with when you select for the NCAA.
One of the things, of course, about today is the fog that is outside. Max, it's a lot of empty seats up there, especially in the balcony area.
Well, I came in after you did, Don, and the wind had picked up about an hour and a half ago and was starting to blow a lot of that away. So hopefully the weather out there is not going to be nearly as treacherous as it was earlier this morning when it was really big-time foggy around here. And now there comes Alan Henderson in, the crowd applauding him here. He is not on crutches. He simply has an air cast, it appears, around his right knee on the outside of a very good-looking blue suit. Man, he is dressed up like you wouldn't believe here.
Well, that's not what people want to see. That's the kind of suit they want to see him in, that's for sure. But Alan, nevertheless, is out there right now, and he doesn't have much to... I know I saw him earlier this morning. There was no smile on his face. I'm sure it's going to be tough to get one out of him for a while.
Well, it's just a tragic situation. It kind of reminds me, Don, of the 75 season, as you may recall, when Scott May broke that arm in the Illinois game. Indiana was able to continue and win the rest of their games, but their level of play was not nearly as good, and ultimately they lost out of the NCAA. That may be what you see here today. Hopefully Indiana's emotion will carry them into this thing and offset whatever loss they may have on the part of Allen.
Well, Indiana, of course, plays a pretty solid rebounding effort this season, Max. When you look at their statistics, overall, they're averaging 37.8 boards a game to 33.8. And in Big Ten play, they're still outboarding their opponents 34.7 to 33.8. That's a testament to a great deal of what Henderson's been able to do, but also to Matt Nover, Brian Evans, Calvert Chaney, Greg Graham. All of these guys have done a pretty good job of boarding this year, but it's going to be even tougher now that Henderson may be gone, at least for the next ball game or two, at least until we find out exactly what his status is, because at this point, nobody is speculating anything beyond the fact that he has a knee injury, and it's indefinite as to how long he'll be out.
Well, Henderson's kind of an intimidator in there with those long arms of him. He leads the team in blocked shots. I think Gene Cady made some reference to that. While he may not always block your shot, he's going to cause you to change the arc or do something that causes you to miss. And, of course, there's no one can replace those long arms.
Well, we're about ready to have the introduction of the ball players to the crowd here this evening, or this afternoon. We do want to point out that one official, Phil Boba, is not able to make the trip today because he was weathered out. In fact, I am told that he is still trying to get here to do the ball game, but the last we heard, he wasn't going to make it.
Well, I think, Don, you made a passing reference a moment ago. Maybe we should clarify it for our radio audience, which can't see. Pat Graham is dressed today. I don't think we've really said that officially, but he is out there, and this is his first trip in a uniform since he got hurt in the Madison Square Garden back in December. So how much he can play remains to be seen, but at least that's got to give the team a little lift.
Well, Bob Knight and Gene Cady are about to shake hands out there at midcourt, and you can see all the cameras over there, and Knight saying something to Cady, and they slap one another on the back, and big smiles on their faces. That'll last for another couple of seconds, and then that'll be gone, and we'll be ready to play basketball. Well, let's take a look now at the starting lineup for today's ball game. First of all, for the Boilermakers of Purdue. At the guard spots will be Matt Waddell. He's a 6'4", 189-pound sophomore out of Tipton, Indiana, a 7.5 scoring average. Matt Painter at 6'6", 195, a senior out of Muncie, Indiana, will be at the other guard. He averages 9.4 points a game. In the middle, Ian Standback, 6'7", 225, a junior out of East St. Louis, Illinois. He averages 6.5 points per game. The forwards are Glenn Robinson at 6'8", 215, a sophomore out of Gary, Indiana, a 24.4 scoring average in the season. In Big Ten play, he leads the conference with a 27.8-point performance. And Cuonzo Martin at 6'6", 206, a sophomore out of East St. Louis, Illinois, will be the other forward. He's averaging 11.4 points per contest. For Indiana today, the guard spots, actually it's going to be a three-guard lineup to start this ball game. Damon Bailey, 6'3", 200 pounds, a junior out of Heltonville, Indiana, a 10.5 scoring average, along with Greg Graham at 6'5", 204, a senior out of Indianapolis, a 14.2 scoring average. Also playing guard today at the outset of this ball game will be Chris Reynolds at 6'1", 187, a senior out of Peoria, Illinois. He averages 3.5 a contest. And the frontline players will be Matt Nover at 6'8", 230, a senior from Chesterton, Indiana. He averages 10.5 a ball game, along with Calvert Chaney, 6'6", 204, a senior from Evansville, Indiana, a 22.6 scoring average. That's the way the Hoosiers start this afternoon under Bob Knight in his 22nd season at IU. His overall record now 611 wins, 212 losses. His Indiana record 509 and 162. At Purdue, Gene Cady's in his 13th campaign there. 303 career victories, 144 losses. His Big Ten record, or rather his Purdue record, is 265 and 125. We'll be back with the opening tip-off of this ball game this afternoon between arch rivals Indiana and Purdue after the 60-second network timeout.
To defend your soybeans against weeds, you need power. control. You need consistency. You need this Squadron. Squadron herbicide for a higher level of soybean weed control. See your Cyanamid AgriCenter dealer. Read and follow label directions.
Let's talk electricity. I have a few words. Indiana's consumer-owned rural electric cooperatives. Quite a mouthful, huh? Well, maybe our name's so long because we do so much. Like providing reliable electric service to over 1 million people across the state. Or investing over $2 billion into bringing you the electricity that offers you necessities like lights, refrigerators, washers and dryers, and much more. Indiana's rural electric cooperatives. But you don't need to call us by name. Just know we'll be there whenever you need us.
Well, this crowd is already getting into it, so you can tell in the background they are roaring for their Hoosier Ball Club. They know that they are needed today crowd-wise, and they're letting the Hoosier players know that they're here in force. Albert Cheney, Matt Nover, Damon Bailey, Chris Reynolds, and Greg Graham on the floor for IU. For Purdue, Martin, Painter, Waddell, Robinson, and Stanback. The officials are Jim Burr, Jerry Petro, and Dan Chrisman for today's ball game. Jim Burr will toss the ball in the air. And we're still waiting for television to take its final timeout.
I understand Jerry Petro is an IHSAA official out of Franklin who's in here substituting for Phil Bova.
We are ready. The crowd is on its feet. Here's the tip. It's controlled by Robinson. It's tapped out to Matt Waddell, and Waddell crosses the timeline to the right side. Bounces it to Stanback. Stanback, top of the key. He holds, flies it left to Waddell, lobs it low to Robinson. Glenn turns around, and a double team against Bailey is on him defensively. Into Waddell. Waddell down low to Stanback. He flips it back to Waddell. Waddell kicks it outside to Painter. Down low to Stanback again. Make it Martin. Martin. Spin dribble to the left wing. Jumps it out to Robinson. Robinson being guarded by Bailey. Right side pass to Stanback. Stanback cross courts to Waddell, who kicks it. And Chris Reynolds actually kicked the ball out of bounds. Reynolds gets into it in a hurry. I'll tell you, he's got a lot of emotion out there.
They got Cheney on Robinson, although he's getting lots of help from everybody.
Well, Bailey's on Robinson. Here is in backcourt. Waddell goes left to Painter. Painter now holds, looks it inside. Bailey and Robinson are doing some dangling out there, and Matt Painter just drills a three-pointer. So Painter hits the first bucket of the game on the first possession for Purdue. Across the timeline, Chris Reynolds on the basketball. Reynolds, top of the key, starts it right, drives it in the lane, pulls it back out, gives it to Nover. Matt down low to Greg Graham, puts it up, missed the shot, and the rebound pulled out of there by Stanback. Here comes Purdue the other way. Waddell driving it toward the left side. He turns around, looks for help, bounces it low to Stanback, or Martin rather. Martin this time is guarded by Bailey. Now here's Robinson in a traveling violation. So Glenn Robinson turns it over on the travel. Indiana will get the basketball out of bounds. Greg Graham inbounds it to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds across the timeline to Bailey. Damon drives inside, pulls up, fires, and hits! Damon Bailey took it right up against Robinson that time. 3-2 score. Indiana down one. Here's Waddell the other way. Waddell in backcourt, turns around, clears it to Robinson. Robinson back off to Painter. Painter drives it left in the lane. Jump pass goes outside to Waddell. He fires the jump shot, no good. Rebound, Matt Nover clears it for IU. Outlet to Greg Graham. Graham one-on-one. Gives it to Calvert. Calvert inside. Scoop shot up and in. Sandy with a beautiful reverse layup, and the Hoosiers take the lead at 4-3. Now back the other way. Graham knocks it away. A scramble for it. And it's picked up. Damon Bailey, what a great save to Greg Graham. Bailey, or to Graham inside, and he's fouled. Matt Waddell will be called for the foul, his first of the ball game, and credit Greg Graham there with some great defensive play, and then a great save by Bailey, and then Graham going down to take the shot, and he'll go to the line.
Well, I think the thing you see right now is how fired up this Indiana basketball team is. They have really come out with fire in their eyes at the moment.
Greg Graham to the stripe. He'll have 2 shots coming. 4-3 score IU. Graham fires and he hits. Greg Graham's first point of the ball game. He'll have 1 more shot coming, hitting 83% of his shots in Big Ten play from the line, 80% for the season. The second one is in the air. It's also good. And Indiana now leads it 6-3. Full court pressure applied by the Hoosiers. Robinson inbounds to stand back to Robinson. He'll bring it down to the dribble. Robinson across the timeline. Guarded by Cheney. Drives it right. Pulls up. Fires. Missed the shot. Rebound stand back inside. Damon Bailey bats it away. Out of bounds to Indiana. Good defensive play again. 6-3 score. IU on top by 3, and the Hoosiers playing excellent defense right now. Across the timeline, Graham. Greg to the right side, bounces it low to Chris, into Mattenover, puts it up, kicked it out of bounds, and it belonged to Purdue. The ball was stripped away from Matt, and it hit off of his foot and bounced out of bounds, so the turnover against the Hoosiers, and the inbound will be made by Cuonzo Martin. Lobs it into Glenn Robinson. Robinson with the basketball against Graham. Robinson looks, fires it off the stand back, up court to Matt Waddell. He drives it right to Painter. Painter looks inside. Painter drives baseline, pulls it back out on the wing, spins, bounces low to Cuonzo Martin, who scores. Martin down low, gets one to drop, his first two, and it's 6-5. Indiana by 1. Reynolds in the lane, pulls it back out to the wing. Chris looks inside. Gives it to Damon. Bailey inside the lane himself. Off to Greg Graham. Shot in the air. No good. Rebound. Robinson clears it for Purdue. Up court to Painter. Back to Robinson. Robinson across the timeline. He drives to the right wing. Guarded by Cheney. Cheney's headed the last 2 or 3 times down the floor now to Martin. Cuonzo drives baseline. Shot good. Cuonzo Martin scores his second basket. He's got 4, and Purdue takes the lead back 7-6. Now Chris Reynolds. He fires from 16. Off the rim, no. Rebound batted away. Pulled out of there by Waddell. Waddell across the timeline. Right side pass to Robinson. He lets it fly. Missed it. Rebound. Chris Reynolds. Reynolds the other way to hurry. Reynolds drives it right. Gives it to Graham. Graham in the corner. Brings it back out. Drives in the lane. Pulls up. Passes into Nover. The ball batted away. Nover comes up with it. He clears it out to Bailey. Bailey fakes. He drives. He fires. Hand. He missed it. Rebound. Bailey again inside. Pulls up. Fires again. Missed it again. A rebound battle for it. It's finally picked up by Glenn Robinson. Back the other way come the Boilermakers. Indiana fans wanted a foul call. They didn't get it. Waddell in the right wing. Bounce pass low. Goes to Stanback. He scores. Ian Stanback's first 2. Now it's 9-6, and the Boilermakers are on a run. They lead by 3. Here's Chris Reynolds. Drives it to the top of the key. Goes right to Calvert. Cheney drives baseline. Fires the jump shot short. Rebound batted out, and it's batted to Cuonzo Martin. He's on a breakaway. Martin puts it up and in. And Cuonzo Martin's got 6, and the Hoosiers are down 11-6. 5-point deficit. And across the timeline comes Chris Reynolds. Reynolds, top of the key to Matt Nover. He fires the 15-footer. Got it. Matt Nover scores his first 2. 11-8, and the Hoosiers trail by 3 with 15-14 on the clock. Here comes Painter across the timeline. Painter to the baseline right, drives underneath, kicks it outside to Waddell, and he threw it away. Indiana will have it. And Gene Cady just kicked the basketball, but it wasn't anything intentional there. He was mad at his player. And the timeout is called with a score. Purdue 11, Indiana 8, 15:05 to go first half, back after the 60-second network timeout.
Great game for copyright, Bob. And how about that star player, Bob? Oh, the Canon NP6060 copier. Fires a copy a second. And the Canon NP6060 has amazing depth. Holds 1,000,000 sheets. Now, Bob. Okay, 6100, backed by professional service technicians. Millions of them. Bob. Okay, a lot. And each has 70 years of experience. Bob. Well, 5's the average. Copyright. The smart choice. The Canon NP6060 is just plain amazing. And it's from Copyright. Call them today. Hey, speaking of ears, Bob. Yeah, Bob. Are those gray hairs I see?
The Hoosier Lottery reminds basketball fans that you have to play to win. Well, with 2 seconds left, the All-Stars are going to have to give the ball to star shooter Swish Sampson. Dave the dribbler Nelson inbounds looking for Swish, but where is he? Oh, no, the Swishster's on the sideline signing autographs. The All-Stars lose a heartbreaker, all because of a 7-foot ego trip. Get in the game and win. Play the Hoosier Lottery.
Play the Hoosier Lottery's newest instant game. Crash the boards and pull down $1,000 instantly. There are 3 chances to win in this basketball game from the Hoosier Lottery.
This broadcast is authorized under rights granted by Indiana University to University Broadcasting Company and the IU Radio Network. Any rebroadcast or other use of descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of University Broadcasting and the IU Radio Network is prohibited. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY, Delphi, Monticello.
All right, we're ready to go as Indiana is down 3, 11-8 with 15:05 to go in this first half.
Well, an 8-point run by Purdue has given them their biggest lead of 5. It's now to 3. Purdue hitting 5 of 8, 62%. Indiana just 3 of 8, 37%. The Boilermakers out rebounding Indiana 6-4. Standbacks already got 3 rebounds. Only turnovers have been causing Purdue problems. They've got 4. Indiana's got 1.
And it'll be Indiana basketball. Damon Bailey will inbound. Bailey, Graham, Nover, and Brian Evans is checked in now, replacing Chris Reynolds. Calvert Cheney is the other starter in the ball game. So Brian Evans seeing his first action of the day. Damon Bailey crosses the timeline. In backcourt, lob into Greg Graham, puts it up, no good. He had the lob play, and Graham was there, but it's just a little bit mistimed. Here is Waddell. Waddell circles outside to Painter. Painter flyers a three-pointer, got it. Matt Painter drills his second 3 of the contest, his 6th point of the ball game. It's now 14-8. Indiana is trailing it by 6. Here's Greg Graham on the right wing against Waddell. Drives in the lane. The ball stripped away, and we got a whistle and a foul call. So the foul against Purdue. And let's see who on. It's on Matt Painter. That'll be his first. That's team foul number 2 against the Boilermakers. Indiana's not been whistled for a foul yet. Greg Graham will be at the free throw line. Graham will have 2 shots coming, and he fires that one good. So Greg Graham now has picked up his 3rd point of the contest. He'll have 1 more shot coming. Somebody yelled, "Shut up, Katie," when the crowd had quieted, and Gene looks around and he just smiles. 4 points now for Greg Graham. Down the floor, a whistle and a foul call on Bailey. So Bailey gets nailed on his first foul of the ball game. And they'll come back to the near sideline. Herb Dove is the face in the ball game that has changed for Purdue. Cuonzo Martin getting a rest, and Cuonzo's getting set to check back in the lineup now. Waddell across the timelines, takes it to the left, spins back to the right, clears it to Glenn Robinson. Robinson holds on the wing, kicks it outside to Dove, now to Waddell. Matt Waddell against Bailey, looks for help, turns around, having trouble, finally clears it out to stand back, gets it to Robinson. Glenn back out to Painter. Painter fakes, drives, pulls it back out to Robinson, again to Painter. Painter again to Robinson down low. He turns, fires the jumper, and got it. Glenn Robinson's first 2 of the ball game. And so it's 16-10 now. Indiana down 6. Greg Graham bounces to Calvert. Cheney to Bailey. Bailey back out to Calvert Cheney, who fires it left to Brian Evans for a 3-point bomb. Good. Brian Evans comes up big with his first 3 of the ball game. It's 16-13. IU down 3. Now up the floor, Waddell. Matt across the timeline against Greg Graham. Waddell looks in, carries it back out to stand back. Now it comes to Dove. Herb Dove drives baseline, pulls up, block shot by Calvert out of bounds. Cheney with a nice defensive effort on the baseline that time. Here comes Cuonzo Martin and Link Darner in the lineup for Purdue. Out goes Dove and Waddell. 16-13 on the board. Indiana down 3. Purdue with 13:21 to go and the ball. Inbounding, Martin gives it off to Painter. Back outside to Robinson. Glenn goes right to Martin. Martin looks it inside. Having some trouble. Drives it now. Fires it off to Ling Darner. Darner pulls up top of the key. Looks for some help. Clears it away to Painter. Matt Painter directs traffic. Passes to Cuonzo Martin. Martin back to Painter. Painter a long 3-pointer. It's short off the rim. Rebound Matt Nover. Outlet to Greg Graham. Graham slows on the left side, pulls up, kicks it out to Damon Bailey. He fires a 3. He misses. The rebound inside, batted away, and we got a foul call on Ian Stanback. Stanback will be nailed in the personal. I called him Ian. It's actually Ian. And he's got his first foul of the contest, and Indiana will get the ball out of bounds. Gene Katie did not like the call that time. Here's Bailey inbounding to Evans, who fires again and hits again. Another 3. Ryan Evans just tied the ball game with consecutive 3-point bomb. 16-16. Backcourt dribble, Glenn Robinson. Robinson, and a foul on Brian Evans. Jim Burr telling Bob Knight to settle down. Knight was up immediately on that foul. So the foul call is on Evans. Bryant's first of the ball game. The inbound pass comes to Link Donner. Robinson hit the ground, and I think Knight felt it was just a reaction that the foul was called. Here's the pass out to Donner, right side to Painter. Painter looks low for Robinson, gets it to him. Calvert on him. He turns and fires it up. He got it, and his foul will be called against IU's Calvert Cheney. And Bob Knight is really, John, he is not happy right now. Cheney gets nailed on the personal, his first of the ball game, and Glenn Robinson's got his 4th point. 18-16, Purdue is leading by 2, and Robinson has a chance to put him up on top by 3 again. So Glenn Robinson at the line. Fires the free one, and it is no good. The rebound comes down to Greg Graham. Graham up the floor quickly. He slows. Backcourt pass to Evans. Brian fakes. Gets it loaded. Bailey all alone up and in. What a feed by Brian Evans, and Damon Bailey converts his 4th point. 18-18 tie. Driving is Waddell. Mad Waddell circles it to the left side. Stops. Gets it to Link Donner. Donner just walked. Got away with it. Donner outside to Robinson. Robinson turns. Threw it inside. It's batted out of bounds by Evans. And we're going to have a timeout. Score. Indiana 18, Purdue 18, with 11:51 to go first half. Back after the 60-second network timeout.
A gas geyser?
No, a gas squeezer.
Does it hurt?
No, it's a high-efficiency gas furnace that squeezes more heat from the same amount of fuel as before.
Sure, order me one too.
New technology means more heat from the same amount of natural gas, the ideal energy.
Hi, George. Can I borrow a cup of hot water?
Out of hot water again?
Again.
You sure you wouldn't like to borrow more than a cup?
No, thanks. I just need to shave.
Natural gas means more hot water, faster. It's the ideal energy.
Hear that?
Wow, it even sounds warm. Is it because my ears are big?
No, it's because I chose gas heat. Dumbo.
Today's natural gas heating technology means comfort and savings. It's the ideal energy for your home. For new information on today's natural gas technology and the ideal energy, call Indiana Gas at 1-800-777-4414.
Well, back at the Assembly Hall, we're Indiana right now. Purdue are locked up in an 18-18 draw. 11 minutes, 51 seconds to go in this first half of play. For the 20th consecutive year, IU basketball games are being brought to you over a statewide network of radio stations. The number's over 50 strong, including WIOU in Kokomo, WAVG in Louisville, WSKT in Spencer, WNJY Delphi Monticello, and WTRC in Elkhart. We're extremely proud to have these stations as a part of this year's IU network. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast.
You can see what Purdue is trying to do, and that is pound the ball inside. All you have to do is take a look at the shots. Robinson's put up 4. Cuonzo Martin's put up a couple. Standback's put up 1. Outside of that, it's been pretty much the three-point shooting of Painter. But Purdue is hitting very well, hitting on 8 of 13 right now, 61%. Indiana just 6 of 13. They are almost 50%. Rebounding is hanging in there. Indiana's trailing by only 1 rebound, 8-7.
Glenn Robinson will inbound the basketball for the Boilermakers. And we're still not quite ready yet. 11:51 to go in this first half of play. Don't see any more changes out there. Yes, we do. Cornelius McNary is checked in for Purdue. He bounces the ball away to Painter. Painter holds high, looks it down low, looking for Cuonzo Martin, can't find him, and finally he gets it to him. Cuonzo Martin in backcourt, slides it to the left, drives in, puts it up in a scoop shot, missed it, rebound, battle for, and Matt Nover's got it in a foul on Glenn Robinson. Robinson picks up personal number 1 as Matt Nover and he battle for the board that time, and the Hoosiers get the basketball out of bounds at the Purdue end of the floor as Bailey inbounds it to Greg Graham. Graham across the timeline. Greg in backcourt, looks at left, fires it out to Damon. Bailey goes right to Calvert. He fires a 3 and got it. Calvert Cheney's 5th point. His first 3. 21-18, IU on top by 3, and I think Greg Graham just got whistled for the foul. Graham nailing his first personal of this contest. That is team foul 4 against IU, so the team fouls are even now. Cuonzo Martin inbounds to Glenn Robinson. Robinson in backcourt will bring it up. Brian Evans on him defensively right now. Robinson slides it to the left, brings it back out, looks for help, and struggles to find somebody, and finally gets it off apparently to Ling Darner. Darner on the dribble against Graham. Darner near the midcourt line, slides it to the right on the wing. Stops, looks for low, can't find Robinson, now does. A whistle, what do we got? Foul call, I believe, on Damon Bailey. Damon Bailey gets nailed in a foul. That'll be his second of the ball game. So Bailey picks up his second personal. 21-18 score, Indiana by 3. The inbound, Cuonzo Martin gets it into Matt Painter. Painter looks underneath, fires it out to Cuonzo Martin, left side to Darner. Ling Darner brings it back out of the wing, and now a foul away from the ball on McNary. Cornelius McNary will be nailed on a personal foul. That'll be his first of the ball game. That's the 5th turnover against Purdue. Inbounding, or rather coming into the game, is Zion Stanback again as McNary goes to the sideline. Indiana has Bailey bringing it up the court for IU. He's got 2 fouls. Damon, right side into Calvert, a whistle. We got a foul called on who? This one will be on Calvert Cheney. Calvert Cheney just got nailed on his second personal foul. So the Hoosiers have 2 players with 2 fouls, Bailey and Calvert Cheney. And that's not good news for IU. Indiana can't afford to lose Calvert, that's for sure. Right side pass comes out to Porter Roberts, who just checked in. He gets it out to Ling Darner. Darner now bounces away to Robinson. Glenn Robinson looks it inside. He clears it off to Stanback, who fakes, fires it left to Darner, who pumps a 3-pointer. No good. Rebound, Damon Bailey for IU. Bailey down the floor hurriedly. Bailey drives it right, spins left, gives it out to Calvert. Jump shot from 10 is gone. Calvert Cheney's got 7. 23-18 score. Indiana is up 5 with 9:57 to go in the half. The inbound pass comes away to Cuonzo Martin. Martin across the timeline of the high bounce. Starts it left, gives it to Robinson. Glenn drives on Evans. Baseline move, pulls up, block shot by Evans, and Bryant comes up with the ball. Beautiful play. Here's Bailey the other way. Damon across the key, gives out to Greg Graham for a 3, and got it! Greg Graham's first field goal. It's a 3, and Indiana has a 26-18 lead all of a sudden. 9:26 to go, first half. Left side, Darner. Darner kicks it out to Porter Roberts. Roberts top of the key. Left side to Darner. Darner turns, backs it out. On the dribble. Darner goes to the right side. Down to Porter Roberts to Darner. Darner drives left. Brings it back out to Roberts. Roberts inside to Robinson. He fires it up and got it. Robinson quiets the crowd with his 6th point. 26-20. Indiana by 6 with 8:55 to go in the half. Here's Greg Graham across the timeline. That roar was started by Pat Graham, who was on the sideline ready to come in. Here's the pass to Bailey for a 3-try. Hit! Damon Bailey's got 7. Indiana leads it 29-20. Now Robinson to Ling Darner. Darner across the timeline. Drives it to the right. Dribbles against Bailey. Stops and clears it away to Martin. Martin goes to Stanback inside. Pass knocked away. Picked off in there by Indiana. Calvert Cheney's got it. Cheney down the floor. Gives it to Brian Evans. In the corner to Graham. 3 on the way. Hit! Greg Graham has got 10. It's time on Purdue. Indiana on top with 8:11 to go in the first half, and we'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
Hi, this is Willard Scott for True Value. We'd like to wish the Indiana University basketball team, better known as the Hoosiers, a great season. When your opponents put the full court press on you, your team needs a point guard who can cut through the defense. But for cutting through wood, you need the Master Mechanic 7 1/4-inch circular saw for just $39.99. It offers built-in scales and cutting guides for precision cuts. For personal service and low prices, bring your family to the True Value family of stores.
Thinking of selling your home? Let the professionals at Century 21 ease the stress. Even under the best circumstances, selling a house comes with a certain amount of anxiety. The key to minimizing it is selecting a sales associate that has the knowledge and sensitivity to take you comfortably through the process, which is why you should contact one of the sales associates at your local Century 21 office or call 1-800-886-4849. Just tell us what you want. It's as good as done. Each office independently owned and operated.
Well, here at the Assembly Hall, we have 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first half of play, and Indiana leads 32-20 thanks to some great three-point shooting by Greg Graham and Damon Bailey and Calvert Cheney all. And the Hoosiers right now owning a 12-point lead, and Pat Graham has made his first appearance since 3 games into the season against Florida State after breaking his foot for the second time in 2 years.
Well, Indiana is 6 of 7 on three-point shots. They are right now on a 16-2 run against Purdue. And since Purdue was up by 6, Indiana's outscored them 22-4. So three-point shots have really made the difference as they have hit 4 of their last 5 three-point shots. 6 of their last 8 have been three-point shots.
So Todd Leary and Pat Graham have checked in along with Brian Evans, Matt Nover, and Greg Graham. Damon Bailey and Calvert Cheney both have 2 personal fouls, and they are on the bench right now. So Calvert and Damon have sat down. Pat Graham and Todd Leary both come in. Max, some pretty good outside shooters in this group.
Well, they certainly are. If they can keep up what has already been started in this first 11 minutes, they're going to be red-hot shooters.
Cuonzo Martin will inbound. He gets it to Matt Waddell. Waddell will bring it up the floor. Stand back Robinson and Painter back in the lineup for Purdue, so they've got their original starting 5. Here's Robinson in backcourt, lost the handle, got it back, slides it left to Cuonzo Martin. Martin brings it top of the key, bounces to Waddell. Down low to Robinson, he turns, lost the handle. We got a foul call against Greg Graham. So Greg Graham now has been called for a foul. And that's his second. So 3 starters already with 2 personal fouls in this ball game. 2 of them, Bailey and Calvert Cheney, are on the bench. Graham just now picking up his second. 17 fouls whistled on Indiana, and Glenn Robinson goes to the line. Robinson fires this one up, no good. He's missed 2.
This was a ball club that hit 30 out of 31 against Wisconsin the last time they were out.
Robinson had some struggles early in the season with his free throws, and then he just hit everything he threw at the lineup. And now he's struggling again, at least in this ball game, and now he hits that when he's got 7. 32-21, the Indiana lead is 11. Here's Leary against full court pressure. First time we've seen it to Pat Graham. Pat drives it in, scoops it up, and scores! Pat Graham's first touch of the basketball results in a basket. 34-21 Indiana. Crowd is on its feet. Here is Waddell, right side, looks in, turns around, clears to Glenn Robinson. Robinson guarded by Graham, and he knocked it out of bounds. Well, you don't know how long he can go from a stamina standpoint, but he's given Indiana a lift already. The inbound comes into Waddell. Waddell in backcourt, drives to the right, passes to Cuonzo Martin. Martin brings it out to the wing, slides it top of the key, lobs it left side to Waddell. He lost it into Robinson. Shot is up and around, no good. Rebound over, kicked out of bounds, Indiana ball. Indiana will have it. 34-21, 13-point leaders with 7:11 to go in the half. Here comes Greg Graham across the timeline. Graham. Right side to Brian Evans. Evans circles to the left, stops, clears it away to Greg Graham, driving it left to the baseline, pulls it back out to Brian Evans. Evans in the lane, kicks it out to Todd Leary. Leary looks down low, now dribbles it to the left wing, to the baseline, gives it back out to Matt Nover. He drives and he travels. Turnover against IU is their 3rd. 34-21, Indiana a 13-point leader with 6:48 on the clock in the first half of play. Waddell will bring it up. Across the timeline, guarded by Leary, gets it out to Painter. Painter turns on Graham, kicks it right to Glenn Robinson. Robinson looks low, then lets it fly, and high off the rim, no. Rebound, Greg Graham takes it out of trouble. Greg down the floor, across the timeline. Graham in backcourt. Moves it to the top of the key. Right side pass to Brian Evans. Evans, inside pass goes to Leary. Fadeaway shot around and no good. Wouldn't go down. Robinson or other stand back on the rebound. Back the other way to Waddell. Waddell drives it left, gives it off to Robinson. He drives on Evans, fires the shot, no. Ball batted away, and a foul call is going to be nailed on Cuonzo Martin. Cuonzo Martin gets nailed on his first foul of the ball game. And so team foul 6 against the Boarders with 6:07 to go, and Indiana will have it out of bounds.
Indiana is playing the closest thing to a zone you'll ever see. They're 3 deep in under the basket, are really covering an area.
34-21. Across the timeline, Indiana with that lead, Leary giving to Pat Graham. Pat looks left, gives it to Greg Graham. Turnaround jump shot off the glass, wouldn't go. Rebound comes off the stand back. Back the other way for Purdue. This is Waddell. Waddell, top of the key, drives it right, pulls it out to Painter. Painter flies in the corner of Cuonzo Martin. Martin looks at low. He'll bring it back out low, gives it down in the stand back to Martin. He drives in the lane, knocks down Greg Graham, no call, and Cuonzo Martin hits the jumper. That's his 8th point of the ball game. Here's Greg Graham across the timeline. Graham looks left, gives to Pat Graham. Pat inside to Todd Leary. Leary outside to Brian Evans. He fakes, drives, turns around, looks, and finally puts it up and missed it. The rebound knocked away. Greg Graham tried to save it and could not. So the turnover against Indiana as the ball went out of bounds off the Hoosier fingertips. Back the other way comes Purdue. They trail by 11. Indiana's led them by 13. Here's Waddell to the right side on the wing. Looks for Robinson. Can't find him. Cross courts at the Painter. Painter drives. Puts his back out the stand back. His 16-foot jump shot is good. Ian stand back has his 4th point. 34-25. The Hoosiers been in a bit of a rut the last couple of times down the floor. They need to pick it up. They lead by 9. Here's Graham looking for Evans. Finds Brian. Brian turns around and pumps a 3. No good. Rebound, battled for, and Glenn Robinson's got it for Purdue. Robinson down inside to Martin, who puts it up and scores. Cuonzo Martin's got his 10th point. Martin is having himself a ball game. 34-27. Indiana's lead has been cut to 7. Here's Greg Graham against Martin, driving it right side, and a whistle, and we got a foul call. Let's see on who. It is on Cuonzo Martin. Martin picks up his 2nd of the ball game. So Martin now has 2. He's the first Purdue player to reach that figure, I believe. And coming back in the ball game will be Herb Dove now for Purdue. I'll tell you what, Greg Graham needs a rest, Max. He looks awful tired out there.
Well, he has really been working very hard, particularly on defense. In the early part of the game, he was the one that was really giving the fire along with Chris Reynolds.
1-1, and Greg Graham drills it. Graham now has pumped in his 11th point of this contest. He is perfect from the line, 5 of 5 in the afternoon. He can take the lead back up to 9 if he hits this one, and he does. 12 points for Greg Graham, and the Hoosiers are on top 36-27 with 4:21 left. First half of play, and here comes Matt Waddell up the court. Leary's got him defensively. Waddell crosses the timeline, moves it left side. Bounce pass comes off to Kenny Williams, who's checked in for the first time, to Dove. Dove in backcourt against Pat Graham. Dove working to the right side. Pulls up, then drives it right again. There is a travel. Dove walks to the basketball, and Indiana will get it on the turnover. That's number 7 against Purdue. Now Indiana with a chance to take it back up to double figures. The inbound pass, Greg Graham has it. He crosses the timeline, goes to Brian Evans. Evans, and there is a forearm stuck into Greg Graham by Kenny Williams. So Kenny Williams will be called for the personal. That'll be his first of the ball game. He got it right in the face of Greg Graham. I'm not sure it was an intentional situation, but he had that forearm up high and popped him right in the jaw. So Greg Graham will go to the line for 2 more, or actually a 1-1. And he eyes the first. It is up, and it is in. And Greg Graham now has pumped home his 13th point of the ball game. And he's having a day from the line. He's 7 of 7 right now.
He only had 8 against Purdue in the first game.
Can make it an 11-point lead. And he got the roll. That's 14 points for Greg Graham. We got a timeout. The score, Indiana 38, Purdue 27 with 3:56 left in the half. Back after the 60-second network timeout. Oh, this is a local break. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Why is Pizza Hut America's favorite pizza? The Pizza Hut secret is simple. Dough made fresh daily. Tangy sauce, 100% real cheese, and mouth-watering toppings.
Making it chewy, making it hot. Tangy and tasty, melting on top.
Every year, Restaurants and Institutions magazine hires independent research firms to poll thousands of Americans about their dining experiences. And for 7 years in a row, America's favorite pizza has been Pizza Hut Pizza. So when you're hungry for pizza, choose America's favorite, Pizza Hut Pizza.
Mountains of toppings making the meal. Thick and cheesy, gooey, steamy, oh what a deal. Pizza Hut, making it great.
Well, back once again at the Assembly Hall where Indiana right now leads Purdue 38-27, 3:56 to go in this first half. Back after this 10-second break for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Don Kennedy is your host for Big Band Jump. That's tonight at 6 o'clock here on WNJY, Joy 103.
Don, both teams have hit 12 baskets. They've both taken 23 shots, so they're both hitting exactly the same. The difference is that Indiana has hit 6 out of 8 three-point shots. Purdue has hit just 2 out of 5. The other thing is that Indiana is 8 of 8 from the foul line. Purdue is just 1 of 3 right now. Rebounding is also dead even in this game, 12-12. Brian Evans, who now is going to have to play a lot more without Alan Henderson, so far this afternoon has a rebound, an assist, and a steal, and a blocked shot. So his presence has been felt everywhere, as he's also 2 for 3 from three-point shots. Matt Nover with 4 rebounds leads Indiana in rebounding.
38-27, Indiana by 11, 3:56 in the half. And Purdue will have the basketball. The inbound comes from Martin to Robinson, and Robinson gives it back to Martin, who goes to Waddell. Waddell will cross the timeline with it. Chris Reynolds is checked back in for IU with Nover, Graham, Pat Graham, Greg Graham, and Brian Evans. Here is Matt Painter on the left wing, drives it left, gives it to Cuonzo Martin. Martin in the corner. Graham harassing him. Martin gets it back out, throw it away. Greg Graham steals. Graham down the floor is fouled by Robinson. Len Robinson just picked up his second foul of the ball game. Indiana with some harassing defense from Pat Graham on the far side, along with Greg Graham, and a great effort. I'll tell you what, Max, that may be the most impressive part of Indiana this afternoon has been their defensive effort.
It has. The other thing I've noticed, it appears to me that Robinson is a little bit, I don't want to say intimidated by this crowd, but you can tell he's concerned.
Greg Graham fires home a free one. He's got 15 points now. He's a perfect 9 of 9 in this ball game, and he was 4 for 4 in the first meeting between these two clubs, so he's got 13 in a row against Purdue. Looking to get one more right here. 3:31 left. He fires the second, and it's perfect. 16 now for Graham, and Indiana leads 40-27. The lead's back up to their largest, 13 points. Here across the timeline with it in backcourt is Matt Painter. Painter looks inside, brings it back out, slides it to the left, spins back to the right, gives it the stand back to Waddell. Waddell in the corner, brings it out against Graham, bounce pass to Robinson, 16-foot jump shot, no good. Rebound inside to Pat Graham. Graham across the timeline, gives it left to Matt Nover. Nover cross-courts it out to Brian Evans, who turns, fakes, fires, and didn't get it, but a foul. And this one will go against Matt Waddell. That'll be his second of the ball game. So now it'll be Brian Evans going to the free throw line. Evans at the stripe has 6 points on a pair of three-point field goals fairly early in this contest when he first came into the ball game. So Brian at the stripe hitting just 61% in Big Ten free throws, but he drills that one with nothing but net. He's got 7. He'll have one more shot coming. 41-27, the biggest lead of the game for IU is now 15. 8 points for Evans. 3:03 left in the half. 42-27 the score. Up the court with the basketball, Cuonzo Martin. Across the timeline, drives it toward the left side. Pitches it out to Waddell. Right to Painter. Painter on the wing. He looks underneath. Brings it back out. Gives it off to Stanback, who bounces back to Painter. He fakes, kicks it out to Waddell. Waddell takes it down low, then fires the jump shot. No good. Rebound Martin inside. Back up, missed it, but a whistle and a foul call. Matt Nover, I believe, is going to be nailed in this one. Matt Nover called for the foul. That'll be his first of the ball game. So Nover gets hit for his first personal foul. We're at 18 fouls whistled against IU. This particular situation will call for 2 since Cuonzo Martin was in the act of shooting. He's had a great first half, 10 points already. And he eyes the free attempt. Up it goes. He got it. 11 now for Martin, and he'll have one more shot coming. He's an 80% shooter in Big Ten play from the line. Hits 79% in regular season. So always right around that 80 mark, and he hit them both. He's got 12. 42-29. Indiana's lead at 13. Here's Chris Reynolds across the timeline. Takes it to the left on the wing. Gets it to Pat Graham. Pat turns around, looks for help. Pat fakes, gives it to Brian Evans. Evans looks in the corner, brings it back out. On the dribble, gives to Pat Graham again. Now out to Chris Reynolds to reset. Here's Reynolds driving in the lane. Out to Brian Evans. Evans looks low, brings it back out, gives it to Matt Nover. He turns against Stanback, looks underneath, kicks it back to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds drives in right, gives it off to Pat Graham. 15-footer, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Waddell. Waddell for Purdue, roaring it the other way, quickly to the left wing. And here's Reynolds stealing a ball. What a great defensive job. Reynolds gets it to Graham, and Graham now gets it back to Reynolds. Chris up court to Brian Evans. Evans takes it down low, into Nover. Nover turns, shoots, and missed it. Rebound Nover. Fakes, puts it back up, knocked away, and Robinson's got it for Purdue. Cuonzo Martin on a break. Pulls up, scores, and a foul. Is it offensive or not? It is not. The foul call goes against Brian Evans. That'll be his second of the ball game. The Hoosier fans didn't like the fact that there was a foul called, but Stanback scores his 6th point, and he'll go to the line with a chance at a 3-point play here. He can make it a 10-point ball game. We've seen Calvert Cheney and Damon Bailey on the bench for a long time. Martin fires the free one. It is good. Was that Martin who scored? It was Martin who scored the 3-point play. So I'll have to change my board here. It's 42-32. Indiana by 10. Graham to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds baseline. Pulls up. Turns inside. Looking for help. Clears it out to Pat Graham. Pat goes back to Chris. He baseline moves again. Brings it back across the lane. Bounces it out to Brian Evans, who fires no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Robinson. Robinson comes back to Painter. To Link Darner. Darner now on the right wing. Circles it, backcourt, top of the key. Stops and looks inside, gives it away to Robinson. Robinson goes left to Painter. Painter now inside pass to Cuonzo Martin, and we got a foul call on Pat Graham. So Pat Graham is going to be nailing this one. That'll be his first of the ball game. And Todd Leary will re-enter the Indiana lineup right now, as Chris Reynolds will get a seat. So he goes to the sideline. And going to the stripe will be Cuonzo Martin. So Martin got that last 3-point play. Is that correct?
That's my recollection of the play, yeah.
So Martin now has 15 points in this ball game. He's having a sensational afternoon. And he fires this one good. Martin now has his 16th point of the ball game. He has an opportunity for one more, and he has tied Graham for game-high honors at this point. Martin eyes for the second attempt, and he got it. Cuonzo Martin scores his 17th. It is 42-34. We're inside a minute. Here's Todd Leary for IU. The Hoosiers' lead is evaporated to 8 again. Here's Nover inside, up, and he got it. Matt Nover's 4th point. Nice feed inside, and Matt made the good move. Back to a 10-point Indiana lead. The clock is down to 43, and one shot coming from Purdue. They're going to run that clock as far as they can. It's about a 3-second differential. Here is Martin in the backcourt on the move. Drives it toward the left side. Spins on Leary. Brings it back outside to Darner. Darner near the midcourt line. Indiana leading by 10. Here's Glenn Robinson holding on. Robinson will just hold on to the ball and let him, Indiana's Matt Nover, come out on him a bit. Robinson then clears it away to Matt Painter. Painter fires to Standback. Back out to Painter. Shots clock's down to 6. The game clock's down to 7. Here's Painter driving it left. Pulls it back right. Drives it all the way and scoops it up and in. And that's going to be the end of the first half of play as Matt Painter scores in a layup with 8 points to his credit in the first half. And the lead for Indiana has been dropped down to 8 here at the break. It is Indiana 44, Purdue 36 of this Big Ten Conference battle here at the Assembly Hall in Bloomington. 44-36, IU on top. We'll be back with our halftime show after we pause for the 60-second network timeout.
State Farm people work together to give you a great homeowner's insurance value. When you have a homeowner's insurance claim, your State Farm agent works together with State Farm claims people. They work together to avoid hassles and delays and speed your claim so you get fast, fair service. Claims teamwork. It makes State Farm a great value. It's a big reason State Farm insures more homes than anyone else.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
University Broadcasting Company is proud to bring you IU basketball. University Broadcasting serves Indiana with the finest in sports radio. University Broadcasting Company operates 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations, including WHHH, Hoosier 96 in Indianapolis, WBWB, B97 in Bloomington, WGCT in Ellettsville, and WAZY, Z96 in Lafayette. University Broadcasting Company is Indiana's radio broadcasting company. Thanks for listening.
Well, back once again at the Assembly Hall. We are at halftime where this Indiana basketball team right now is leading Purdue 44-36 here at the break. And let's take a look at the individual scoring in this first half of play. First of all, for Purdue, Matt Waddell did not score, picked up 2 personal fouls. Matt Painter had 3 field goals, 8 points. He had 2 3-point field goals, 1 personal, 8 points for Matt Painter. Ian Standback had a pair of field goals for 4 points and 1 personal. Len Robinson threw in 3 field goals, 1 free throw, 7 first half points, and 2 personal fouls. Cuonzo Martin was the big gun for Purdue in the first half. He had 6 field goals to go along with 5 free throws, 17 points for Cuonzo Martin. He also picked up 2 personal fouls, 17 for Martin. Porter Roberts, Kenny Williams, Herb Dove, Link Donner, and Cornelius McNary all played but did not score, and Williams and McNary had 1 personal foul. So the leading scorer for Purdue, Cuonzo Martin with 17. For Indiana the first half, Chris Reynolds did not score and did not foul. Damon Bailey with 3 field goals, 1 of them a 3-pointer, 7 first half points and 2 fouls. Matt Nover, a pair of field goals for 4 points and 1 foul. Calbert Cheney with 3 field goals, a 3-pointer involved in those 3, 7 points and 2 personals. Greg Graham this afternoon has been Indiana's hot hand. He fired up 16 points in this first half of play, including 2 3-point field goals, and the rest were all from the free throw line. So he has had an outstanding first half of basketball. Brian Evans with a pair of 3-point field goals and a pair of free throws for 8 points at the break, 2 personal fouls. Pat Graham with a field goal for 2 points and 1 foul, and Todd Leary did not score and did not foul. So Indiana's led at halftime with 16 first half points out of Greg Graham. Max, look at those team statistics.
Well, Indiana in the first half shot 13 of 27 for 48%. Purdue shot 14 of 27, 51.2. Indiana's problems was they hit only 1 of their last 8 shots. That came in the last 5.5 minutes of play. Indiana shot 6 out of 8 from 3-point range, 75%. Purdue 2 of 5 for 40%. From the free throw line, Indiana was perfect. 12 of 12. Purdue was 6 of 8, 75%, including their last 4, which they hit in a row. Rebounding very close, in spite of the fact Indiana's leading rebounder is not playing today. Indiana with 14 rebounds, Purdue with 15. Robinson and Standback each have 5 to lead Purdue. Nover has 5 to lead Indiana. Turnovers have been a significant part of this game in that Indiana has turned it over only 3 times, while Purdue has turned it over a total of 9. Indiana was up by 15 points with 3:03 to play, but Purdue came on a 9-2 run at the end of that game to get it, or the end of the half, to get it down to the 8-point difference we have right now. Waddell has 4 assists right now to lead Purdue, while Bailey has a couple to lead Indiana in that department. Individually, Cheney sat out a lot of this first half because of fouls. He was 4 of 5 while he was in there. Matt Nover was 2 of 4. Greg Graham 2 of 5. Damon Bailey has hit 3 out of 6. Chris Reynolds and Todd Leary have missed their only shots. Pat Graham, seeing action for the first time since early December, is now 1 of 2 this afternoon, and Brian Evans is 2 of 5. For Purdue, Glenn Robinson has been held to just 3 of 9 shooting. Indiana held him to 9 of 22 in that first game. Cuonzo Martin is 5 of 7. Standback is 2 of 2. Waddell 0 of 2. Painter 3 of 4. Darner and Dove have each missed their only shots. Well, these scoring has come in bunches today. Purdue scored 8 in a row at one time. Indiana 10 in a row, 6 in a row, again 8 in a row, and Purdue scored another 7 in a row at one time. So Indiana, with a 16-2 run, however, went up by 12 points at the 8-minute mark, and it's never gotten any closer than the 8 we have right now. 44-36, Indiana on top.
All right, Max, score again. Indiana on top, 44-36, and we'll be back with more of our halftime show, including an interview with Steve Alford, the former IU great who is now the head coach at Manchester College, after we pause for the 60-second break. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Have you ever thought about how much work your brakes do every day? You know, the average set of brakes stops your car safely over 100 times daily, and that's not counting when you slow down. Your safety, as well as the safety of your family, depends on your brakes. That's why Jim's Tune-Up take a great deal of pride in providing the very best in brake service. All brake jobs include a complete 4-wheel check and turning of the drums or rotors if necessary. And you can even get pads that are guaranteed for as long as you own that car. See Jim's Tune-Up in Monticello today on 1st Street under the big smokestack.
You know, sometimes you just don't feel like cooking. That's okay, though. Kim's Kitchen is close by to cook for you. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Kim's Kitchen can have a hot, home-cooked carry-out meal ready for you in minutes at a price that won't make you regret it. Why cook when you don't have to? Call Kim's Kitchen and order a carry-out meal that'll please the whole family. Kim's Kitchen, just south of Monticello, next to the Madame Carroll. Call ahead for carry-out. That's Kim's Kitchen, 583-3391. Kim's Kitchen.
Well, here at Assembly Hall, we're being entertained by the Star of Indiana in a concert out on the court, getting the approval of the crowd here. We have Steve Alford seated alongside us. Steve, now the head basketball coach at Manchester College after a pro career and, of course, a great career here at Indiana University. Steve, your thoughts on this first half?
Well, it's been an interesting first half. It's been a half that in the last 12 minutes of the half, I thought Indiana controlled all the way up to the last minute 40 of the half, and then they had some lapses, and then probably going to be some guys getting yelled at halftime for giving up an uncontested layup at the end of the half. But overall, it's been a pretty good half.
I'm sure you said something good there at the end, but that drum blazed away, and I'm not sure what you said, so we'll go on from there. What's it like, Steve? Have you ever been in a situation where you lost a key player like that any time you were playing?
Not when I was playing. The only guy that I can remember really losing to somebody was Roy Tarpley, and that was to a drug issue when I played with the Dallas Mavericks. But nobody in high school, really nobody here at Indiana, with the exception of losing Ricky Calloway for a little bit, but we got Ricky back when it was time to get him back. When we got him back for the Big Ten, we got him back for the national championship run. And hopefully Alan's going to be able to get back for the championship run. And that'd be unfortunate if he can't. But I've come across 3 very tough things that have happened to me this year. We've lost 3 kids to injuries that have been very key injuries for us this year. So I know a little bit now what it's like to go from a coaching standpoint and lose a star player.
What happens to the attitude of the team when you lose somebody? Do they really suck it up and play harder?
Well, there's 1 or 2 things that are going to happen. It's a lot like with the street kid passing away at Iowa. You're going to ride an emotion for a certain amount of time, and now your talent and your experience is going to have to come out. And fortunately, Coach Nice has done a good job of playing a lot of people. Brian Evans has played a lot of minutes this year, so he's just going to have to step up his play. I think Damon Bailey's going to be a key. Damon's really going to have to be assertive now at the offensive end. You've got him now defensively guarding a guy like Glenn Robinson, who I thought did a very good job on him in the first half. So I think Bailey and Evans are going to be keys for him, that they're going to have to step up their play here in the championship run down the stretch.
Steve will come back and talk some more, but right now we need to pause 60 seconds. Indiana leads the Purdue Boilermakers at halftime, 44-36. Let's pause 60 seconds. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Why is Pizza Hut America's favorite pizza? The Pizza Hut secret is simple. Dough made fresh daily. tangy sauce, 100% real cheese, and mouth-watering toppings.
Making it chewy, making it hot. Tangy and tasty, melting on top.
Every year, Restaurants and Institutions magazine hires independent research firms to poll thousands of Americans about their dining experiences. And for 7 years in a row, America's favorite pizza has been Pizza Hut Pizza. So when you're hungry for pizza, choose America's favorite, Pizza Hut Pizza.
Mountains of toppings making the meal. Thick and cheesy, gooey, steamy. Oh, what a deal! Pizza Hut, making it great.
Here in the Assembly Hall at halftime, Indiana leading Purdue 44-36. We're talking with Steve Alford. Steve, Calvert Chaney at this point in time has only 7 points, but I'm afraid he's on his way to take you out of the record book as the all-time leading scorer. I assume you knew it was inevitable it was going to happen, but I'm sure you've enjoyed the years, have you not?
Oh, it's been great. Not just being the leading scorer in Indiana history, just being a part of Indiana basketball history has been a lot of fun for me. And I think when you set records, you set them understanding they're going to be broken. I remember when I broke Don Schlunt's record, I remember getting a very nice letter from him when I broke his record and talking about the kind of individual that he thought I was. And that meant a lot to me. And I think now as my record's getting ready to be broken by Calvert Chaney, you never know who's going to break it. And I'm very appreciative, and it makes me very proud that a guy like Calvert Chaney, I know his work ethic, I know the way he goes about preparing his body and his mind to play this game, and you always like to see individuals like that succeed, and he's a great person on top of that, and I only wish him the best of success.
Well, Steve, we got a couple of minutes here. Let's talk about the Manchester Spartans. You won a big one last night against Rose Hullman. What kind of a season are you having?
Well, we're having an outstanding year. We finished the season last year at 4-24, and this year we sit at 17-7. We've had over a 400% turnaround in our program. We think we're establishing an attitude now among our team and among the opponents that we play. We're doing it with a bunch of freshmen and sophomore to begin with. We start 3 freshmen and a sophomore and a junior. So we're very young. We lose one individual who's averaging 8 points a game for us. So we don't lose a lot of people for next year and the following year. So we're ecstatic about where our program's going, and we really look forward to the future.
Does your dad give you a little help with your coaching? Do you call on him in it all?
Oh, yeah. We call Indiana a lot. We call Newcastle a lot. Dad has made every game, with the exception of a couple where Newcastle has played on the same nights that we played. And he does a great job of really trying to help us out with what we need to get done. He really helps us out with recruiting, with all the people he knows in the state of Indiana. We've yet to recruit a kid out of the state of Indiana, and we hope that we can continue to do that because obviously we think that's where the best players are, and Dad really does an awful lot for our program in the way of recruiting.
Of all you learned coming out of Indiana's program, what single thing has been the most helpful to you as you become a coach? Can you think of that at this point?
Well, there's been so many different things, Max. Just the ability to compete, being so tough mentally that you just get to a point where you're hard to play against. And I think the Indiana team of this year has developed an attitude to where now they're a hard team to compete against. They're a hard team to beat. And I think I really learned that at my experiences here under Coach Knight, that when we were freshmen, we weren't a very difficult team to play against. But the time we were seniors, I always felt like we were a tough team to play against. And the bottom line is, in the last 5 minutes, we were a tough team to beat. And I see this same team developing into that kind of team. And I think that's what we're trying to do at Manchester College, is try to exemplify those type of traits in our players.
Well, Steve, we always watch what happens to Indiana players when they go on, and we're delighted to see the success you're having at Manchester. We appreciate your coming by today and for being our guest here at halftime. We'd like to give you this gift certificate from D. Dan's Gentlemen's and Ladies Clothiers in the North Willow Mall on West 86th Street in Indianapolis.
I appreciate it. Continue to support Don. He needs a lot of help.
All right. We'll see if we can carry him. You worry about the Spartans, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Steve Alford visiting with us here at halftime as Indiana leads the Purdue Boilermakers 44-36. Taking a look at the individual stats once again, it's 14 of 27 for Purdue here at halftime. That's 51.9. Once again, Indiana has slipped below the 500 percentage mark, as they have hit just 13 out of 28 officially for 46.4. From three-point range, that's where Indiana has done very, very well. 6 of 9, 67.1. Purdue is 2 of 5, 40%. Indiana's foul shooting absolutely perfect, 12 of 12, while Purdue is 6 of 8. So that's a look at the team stats quickly here as this second half about ready to get underway. Indiana up 44-36.
Was he any good?
He said that I had to watch out and try to carry you if I could the rest of the year.
I gotcha. He wasn't any good then. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back to start the second half right after we pause for the 60-second network timeout.
I nestled into booth 12 at Waffle House when I heard that...
May I help you?
...voice. There stood the most pleasant, caring...
Nice haircut.
...person I'd ever met. Over the next hour, we shared...
I recommend...
...many thoughts.
Coffee?
...about life. You see, I had reached...
Dessert? Fishing tips?
...the service zone.
If we could be open more than day and night, we would. We're more than lip service. We're Waffle House.
I moved to booth 11. Oh, miss...
Say, neighbors, that one of those new snapper lawn tractors I see in your garage?
You betcha. This baby is built tough, and talk about power. A Briggs IC with 12 horses, Peerless 5-speed gear drive, 30-inch cutting deck with 6 cutting heights, 32-inch turning radius, 2-year limited warranty.
Boy, you must have run into some cash to buy this snapper tractor a couple of months before the grass needs to be cut.
Oh, not at all. I just use Snap Credit, so I don't have to start paying for it until October. Besides, with Snapper Tractor starting at $14.99, these babies aren't going to last very long down at the Snapper dealer.
You know, neighbor, I think I'll go visit that snapper dealer before the spring rush starts.
Well, back once again at the Assembly Hall where we're about to get the second half of this basketball game underway. Indiana leading Purdue 44-36. The Boilermakers made a brief comeback, got it down to 8 once. Indiana took it back up to their biggest lead of the game, I believe 15. But then Indiana again slid a little bit and obviously didn't maintain and struggled a bit with Calvert Cheney and Damon Bailey both on the bench. But nevertheless, they hold an 8-point lead right now as they start the second half. Cheney, Bailey, Greg Graham all playing with 3 personal fouls. My apology, 2 personal fouls. I said 3. And now we are ready. Bailey across the timeline for IU, takes it to the left wing and stops, bounces into Madden, overturns, fakes, drives, puts it up and missed it. Tip up is good. Brian Evans grabs the tip in. He's got 10. Indiana 46, Purdue 36. Good offensive effort there by Evans. Backcourt dribble. This is Matt Waddell. Waddell to the left wing, turns around, can't find anybody. Looks for help, clears to Robinson down low. He bounces into Martin, who puts it up and missed it. And the rebound, Calvert Cheney. Calvert's got it, outlet to Damon Bailey. Bailey down the floor, right side to Greg Graham. He pulls up, takes it in the corner to Evans, who fires a 3 and missed it. The rebound will come off the stand back. Stand back to Waddell, and Bailey almost took it away, but Waddell comes up with it. Now Robinson. And Gene Cady is unhappy about the lack of a call. Here in the corner goes Matt Painter. Painter fakes the 3, then drives it outside to Waddell. Waddell goes left to Martin. Martin takes it inside, puts it out to Robinson. Robinson lost the handle, scrambled for it, kicked out to Matt Painter for a 3 try, and he misses. Rebound inside to Martin. Martin clears it away to stand back outside to Painter. Now to Robinson. A 3 on the way by Glenn is good. Glenn Robinson has his 10th point of the ball game on a 3-point bomb. 46-35. Or make that 46-39 rather, and the Hoosier lead has been cut to 7. That's as close as Purdue's been in a while. Bailey in low to Nover. Nover fakes, drives baseline against Robinson, puts it up in a reverse and got it. How about that move by Nover inside? Powers it home for his 6th point. 48-39. Waddell outside to Robinson, left side to Painter. Painter holds on the wing. Back out it comes to Cuonzo Martin. Martin with the basketball. Martin fires it left to Waddell. He lets a long shot fly. A 3, no good. The rebound, Brian Evans knocks it to Calvert Cheney. Cheney clears it away to Damon Bailey. Bailey up the court, takes it toward the right side, pulls up on the wing, stops his dribble, bounces low to Greg Graham, and the ball's batted out of bounds by Waddell. Indiana will control. The Hoosiers will have it. 17:52 left. Indiana on top, 48-39. IU trying to take it to double figures once again. Damon Bailey inbounds. It comes to Matt Nover. Nover holds on the wing, takes it in the lane, turns, spins, looks, and having trouble. Finally clears to Brian Evans. Evans gets it out to Greg Graham. Right side to Calvert. Cheney pumps a 3, and no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Standback for Purdue. He clears to Matt Painter. Painter Brings it across the timeline. Takes it to the right side of the drive. Pulls it back out on the dribble. Matt Painter goes low inside to Robinson, and a whistle blows, and we got a foul called against Indiana. This one will go on Brian Evans. Evans has picked up his third foul. So Indiana has 3 personals on Brian Evans. He's the first to reach that plateau in the foul department. First team foul whistle against IU in the second half. Purdue will inbound. Martin to Robinson, who fires immediately and hits immediately. Robinson has his 12th point as he starts to pick up steam. 48-41, the lead back down to 7. Here's Nover, and the ball stolen by Robinson. Glenn Robinson will take it for an easy layup, and he puts it in. Robinson scores his 14th point, and now the lead has been cut to 5. Here's Greg Graham, backs it out on the dribble. Moves it inside the lane, pulls up, stops, looks for help, clears to Calvert Chaney. He goes to Brian Evans. Evans low, drives it inside, a whistle. We got a foul call on Stanback. Ian Stanback has picked up his second personal. 48-43, the Hoosier lead has evaporated to 5 after having it back up by 9. Damon Bailey will inbound for Indiana. The pass to Brian Evans. Evans now holds, drives it baseline, spins, turns, clears to Matt Nover. He takes it inside, and he comes back to Evans in the corner. Down low to Calvert. It's stolen, thrown away. There's a scramble for it. Stanback is tied up. And the turnover will go to Purdue, or the possession turn will go to Purdue. So the Boilermakers have the basketball back once again. Indiana's lead has slipped to 5, and a chance for Purdue to get inside that.
Well, Indiana's turned it over twice in this half already. Purdue has yet to turn the basketball over in this half.
5 turnovers for IU in this ball game, so not many, but they're coming at a critical time here. Now up the floor, Ling Donner. Donner goes left side to Glenn Robinson. Robinson outside to Stanback. Back off to Donner, now to Painter. Painter fakes the 3, then drives it right, pulls up, out to Donner. Donner's 3 in the air, no good, and the rebound comes to Greg Graham. Graham down the floor. Right side to Calvert. Calvert looks inside, turns around, gives it out to Brian Evans. Evans back to Bailey underneath. He turns, and he's whistled for a traveling violation. Bob Knight says he's pushed, so does Dan Dockich. But that's 6 turnovers on IU, and Indiana is still a 5-point leader, but Purdue another chance. Here's Darner across the timeline against Greg Graham. Darner goes left to Stanback. Stanback holds on the wing, gets it in the corner to Painter, back out to Darner. Darner again to Painter, a whistle, and we got a traveling violation on Matt Painter. And there's timeout called. The score will read Indiana 48, Purdue 43 with 15:59 to go in this final half of play. Back after the 60-second network timeout.
When was the last time you thought about your electricity? Never, right? Well, there's a reason for that. It's called Indiana's consumer-owned rural electric cooperatives. And we've been providing you and a million other people with reliable electric service for 55 years. And we've invested over $2 billion to bring you electricity for conveniences like TVs, refrigerators, toasters, and much more. Of course, there's a reason Indiana's rural electric cooperatives work so hard to serve you. You are, after all, our owners.
Now, Madam Yolanda will read your palm. Oh, you're a farmer. You grow beans.
Soybeans.
I feel a powerful presence. 2 strong forces working together to solve all your problems.
Could it be Tricept herbicide?
Are your problems broadleaf weeds and grasses?
Yes.
Like pigweeds, foxtails, cocklebur?
Yeah.
Ah, then the answer is Tricept, made with Scepter herbicide and Treflan herbicide for the most power you can pack in a jug.
All that's in my palm?
No, in your Tricept brochure. Oh, one more thing. See your Cyanamid Agri-Center dealer. Read and follow label directions.
Before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY, Delphi, Monticello, where you get a wake-up call every weekday morning at 5 o'clock with NBC's First Light and your host, Dirk Van.
Well, Indiana, which held Purdue to just 39.7 shooting in the first game in which these 2 teams played. This afternoon, Purdue's hitting 50% on the game, only 43% in this half, however, 30 of 7. Indiana's fired it up only 4 times here in this second half, hitting on 2, but for the game, they're shooting only 47%, as once again they dip below that 50% margin, which has been so tough for them in these last few Big Ten games, getting to the 50% margin.
Indiana with the basketball, leading by 5. Purdue has Darner, Painter, Robinson, Martin, and Stanback in the lineup. Indiana has Bailey, Graham, that's Greg, Brian Evans, Calvert Cheney, and Matt Nover. 15:59 to go. Glenn Robinson equaled his first half performance scoring-wise, 7 with 7 to start the second half in less than 4 minutes. So he has gotten hot. Now Damon Bailey up the floor across the timeline on the dribble. Man-to-man by both teams throughout. Here is Bailey to the right wing. Stops, looks low, gives it out to Brian Evans. Evans with the basketball. Again, Stanback drives it inside, pulls it back out, gives it to Bailey. Damon now almost got knocked down. Bailey drives it the other way, and Painter is reaching in and gets called for the foul. Matt Painter has picked up the personal. That'll be his second. And Indiana will get the basketball out of bounds. Team foul number 2 against Purdue. Inbounding will be Calvert Cheney, who has 7 points in this ball game, and he has not played a great deal. Here is Bailey. Backcourt dribble. Sat out of much of the first half with 2 fouls. Here's Bailey to the left side. Gets it out to Calvert Cheney. Cheney back to Bailey on the wing. Bailey brings it outside to Brian Evans. Evans against Stanback. Takes it inside. Forces one up. Got it, and a foul. Brian Evans with another big hoop. The freshman out of Terre Haute has 12 now, and a chance at a 3-point play here. Tell you what, Brian Evans, Max, seems to stand up and get noticed in big ball games.
He hits some key baskets, and that really has helped Indiana. Calvert Cheney, you were talking about, he played just 12 minutes in the first half. He's being really guarded tight by Martin.
Evans fires the free one, no good, and the rebound comes off to Purdue. 50-43. Across the timeline, Darner takes it to the left wing. Brings it back outside, stops, looks, crosses out to Glenn Robinson, who has it in backcourt. Robinson now holds, looks it right, slides it back left, pulls up in the lane, fires the jump shot, good. Glenn Robinson is some kind of player. He's got 16. And 9 of those have come here in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Across the timeline, Greg Graham. It's 50-45 IU. Here's Bailey baseline, 12-footer. No good, and the rebound comes off to Robinson. Robinson back out to Painter. Painter across the timeline. Matt Painter to the right wing, down low past to Cuonzo Martin. Martin, who had the hot hand of the first half for Purdue, gets the ball back from Painter, puts it up and scores. Cuonzo Martin has gotten 19, and it's a 3-point contest. 50-47. Hoosier fans screaming. They want something to happen here. Here's Greg Graham into Calvert. Turnaround jump shot is good. Calvert Cheney answers the call. He's got 9. 52-47. IU by 5. Here's Matt Painter on the left side to Glenn Robinson. Robinson holds, looks inside. Robinson drives now, pulls up, fires, no good. Got his own rebound. Back up he goes and hit it. Robinson is some kind of power player. He's got 18. And he's a different player here in the second half. 52-49, 3-point Hoosier lead. Damon Bailey starts it to the left. Bailey outside to Greg Graham. Graham to Calvert Cheney. He drives it right, pulls it back out to Brian Evans. Down low to Matt Nover. Nover inside, puts it up and scores. Nover's got 8. Good move underneath. 54-49. 5-point Indiana lead. Link Darner with the basketball. Darner looks at left, gets it to Robinson again. Robinson turns around, complains, fires a shot, missed it this time, and the rebound to Damon Bailey. Bailey brings it up the court. Damon across the timeline, in lane, ball batted out of bounds, kicked by Purdue. It'll belong to IU. 54-49, Indiana leads by 5. 13:09 left in this ball game. The Hoosiers have the ball. The inbound to Brian Evans for a 3. Hit! Brian Evans all alone gets his 15th point of the ball game, his third 3 of this contest, and takes the lead back up to 8, 57-49. Here's Painter to Darner. Darner looks it in, down low to Stanback. Back out it comes to Cuonzo Martin for a 16-foot jump shot, and he got it. Cuonzo Martin answers for Purdue. He's got 21. 57-51. IU by 6. Greg Graham to the right side, brings it back out left, spins, and he's fouled by Darner. Link Darner called for the personal. That'll be his first of the ball game. Fourth team foul whistle against the Boilermakers. Porter Roberts will check in. So will Herb Dove now for Purdue. Cuonzo Martin and Matt Painter both will get a rest, and Cornelius McNary is also going to check into the lineup now for Purdue.
Indiana's having trouble with the keeping that high intensity, the defense that they had in that first half. They were really causing Purdue lots of problems in the first half. Here in the second half, Purdue's been able to handle pretty well so far in this first 7 minutes.
McNary replaced Stan back. The inbound from Bailey to Graham, and Graham spins down the right side. Fakes, looks for help. Turns, bounces to Bailey. Bailey backcourt to Evans on the left wing. Fakes, drives it inside, turns, the ball stripped away, and we get another foul. Glenn Robinson gets nailed on number 3. The third on Robinson. That sent Gene Cady down the sideline in disbelief. Damon Bailey will inbound. 5 team fouls against Purdue. The inbound comes to Brian Evans, who spins on Robinson, shoots and misses. Rebound batted out of bounds. We get a foul on McNary. Cornelius McNary gets nailed, and that'll be his first of the ball game, or make it his second. And the 6th team foul whistle on Purdue, and Gene Cady is screaming.
Well, Robinson just hit somebody in the face just before the ball was thrown in bounds, and now the referee's going to come out and talk to him a little bit. Action's getting a little bit heated there.
Damon Bailey will inbound, lobs it into Calvert, and we get another foul. And this one's on Herb Dove. Herb Dove pushes off on Calvert Cheney, and that'll put Cheney at the line with a 1-and-1. So Dove has got his first foul. Cheney will go to the stripe. The Boilermakers trail by 6, 57-51, and Calvert will have a chance to add to that lead.
Well, Calvert's only shot 6 times in this game, as Purdue has really shut him out of the action.
1-and-1 coming to Cheney. The first, he eyes, flies, and hits. Cheney's got 10, and the Hoosiers lead it by 7, 58-51. Cheney will have one more shot coming, and the second is short. The rebound comes off to Robinson. Purdue's got it. Robinson going through a little bit of histrionics there. Here is Porter getting out to Darner, right side to Porter. Porter on the wing against Graham. Porter turns around, slides it back top of the key. Here's the pass going to Dove. Dove now holds in backcourt. Now the dribble left goes to Roberts. Down low to Robinson. Glenn Robinson drives, fires the jump shot. No good. Rebound Brian Evans, and a foul call on McNary. Cornelius McNary gets nailed on his 3rd foul. And they'll go to the other end for another 1-and-1 as Brian Evans got the rebound and got banged by McNary underneath. Matt Painter and Cuonzo Martin will check back in for Purdue.
Purdue is really a frustrated football team, or perhaps basketball team right now. They look a little like a football team, but basketball team, they think they're getting some bad calls, and it's really affecting their play right now.
Darner and Dove sit down, and Stanback will also check in for Purdue. Brian Evans will be at the free throw line. 58-51 is the count as Stanback sits down for McNary. Brian Evans at the line with a 1-and-1. Evans has 15 points in the ball game and couldn't get the roll on the rebound. The board comes off to Purdue's Porter Roberts with it. And Roberts down the floor in the backcourt dribble. Roberts takes it left to Painter. Painter on the baseline goes inside to Stanback, and we got a whistle and a foul call on Calvert Cheney. That'll be his 3rd. Calvert Cheney just got his 3rd foul. And we're going to have a timeout call. Score, Purdue trailing Indiana, 58-51, 11:41 to go. And this arch rivalry battle is just exactly that. We'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
What's clear?
New crystal clear Amoco Ultimate Gasoline.
What isn't?
All other premium gasolines.
What's clear?
New improved Amoco Ultimate is the only premium refined an extra step to remove harmful impurities called PNAs.
PNAs?
Impurities that can rob your engine of performance and contribute to hydrocarbon exhaust emissions.
What's clear?
For unsurpassed performance and a cleaner environment, Crystal Clear Amoco Ultimate.
New in this area.
You expect more from a leader.
Hi, this is Willard Scott for True Value. We'd like to wish the Indiana University basketball team, better known as the Hoosiers, a great season. A thunderous slam dunk or a buzzer beater shot is something special. And in February, True Value has something special of their own. A Tylo entry lock set with 2 keys from Kwikset. It's ideal for use on exterior doors, and it's just $7.47 while quantities last. For personal service and low prices, bring your family to the True Value family of stores.
Well, here at the Assembly Hall, the Hoosier fans on their feet right now, but Indiana's lead still precarious, just 7, 58-51 with 11:41 to go.
One of the things Indiana's going to have to do a better job of, and that's hit free throws now, because already with Indiana in the 1-1 with still almost 12 minutes to play, Indiana has suddenly now stopped hitting free throws. They're just 1 of 4 this half after hitting all 12 they shot in that first half. Both teams hitting 50% for the game, so it's pretty evenly matched there.
Cuonzo Martin will inbound for Purdue along with Standback, Painter, Robinson, and Roberts. Indiana has Cheney, Nover, Bailey, Graham, and Brian Evans. 11:41 to go. The Hoosiers are up 7. Purdue with the basketball. Gene Cady is jawing out there. The one official saying something about watch their elbows. Everybody tries to get an advantage, don't they?
Both coaches talking about pushing off today, and I'm sure there is a lot of pushing off goes on both teams.
Inbounding will be Cuonzo Martin for Purdue. He gets it. Oh, it's thrown away. Brian Evans just intercepted it, got in the passing lane, and took it right away. Up the floor, Greg Graham. Across the timeline. Graham to the right side. Stops, goes out to Bailey. Damon penetrates, back to Graham. Graham fakes, drives in, pulls up, looks for help, clears to Evans. Evans back to Greg. Graham gives it up to Damon Bailey. Bailey slides it right wing. Bounces low to Calvert. Cheney fakes, fires, and hits! Calvert Cheney with his 12th point of the ball game. 60-51. Had Glenn Robinson on him, and he faked him out. Up the floor, Indiana on defense and a man. Roberts with the basketball. Porter Roberts to Standback. Standback top of the key. Fires it right to Roberts. Roberts looks it inside, and we got another foul. Matt Nover, I think, just got nailed on one. So Matt Nover gets nailed for his second personal foul. And it's still Indiana on top by 9. In the inbound comes to Robinson. He fires it no good. The rebound inside. Pulled up by Martin, and he scores. Cuonzo Martin with an offensive rebound, his 23rd point. 60-53. 7-point Indiana lead. Damon Bailey to the right side. Bailey out to Greg Graham. Graham inside to Nover, and he got a whistle called against Standback, I believe. So Standback is nailed on his third personal. No, it's his fourth. Standback has now picked up his 4th foul, and that'll bring McNary back into the ball game for Purdue. So Cornelius McNary will check in and give Standback a rest, who has 4 fouls. 10:35 to go. Indiana is a 7-point leader, and Matt Nover will be at the free throw line with 8 points.
Indiana 13 of 16 from the foul line tonight.
Gene Cady went down and told a policeman about a fan that apparently is harassing him. And they're telling the guy to settle down. 9 points now for Nover as he hits the free throw. Nover will have one more shot coming. Up it goes, and it is good. 10 points for Nover. 62-53. Indiana on top by 9. Across the timeline with the basketball in backcourt is Porter Roberts. Roberts now slides it left, spins, looks for help, and gets it out to Glenn Robinson. Robinson clears to Painter. Matt Painter, a 3 on the way. No good. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. Brian Evans couldn't hang on. Ball will belong to Purdue out of bounds.
Well, Painter hit the first 2 3-points he shot, but he's missed 3 in a row now. It's Purdue is 1 of 5.
Cuonzo Martin gets it into Painter. He fires it backcourt to Roberts. Roberts, top of the key. Fires it off to Glenn Robinson. Robinson now in the corner. Got to Cuonzo Martin. He fires a jump shot. Good. Cuonzo Martin. A big bucket there. He's got 25. Martin is having himself a career game. 62-55. Indiana is up 7. Greg Graham across the timeline. Graham slides it toward the right. Stops and looks. Turns around. Bounces to Matt Nover. Nover down low. Brings it back out to Damon Bailey. Bailey drives baseline. He tries to kick it out. Does to Graham for a 3 try, and he missed it. Rebound, Brian Evans back up, and he missed the shot. McNary with a rebound. Back the other way, Porter Roberts inside to Cuonzo Martin, who missed the easy one at the other end. Martin misses the easy layup. Here's Bailey the other way for IU. Right side, he almost lost it. Back outside to Calvert Chaney. Jump shot in the air. Good! Calvert Chaney's got 14. Gene Cady is up and is complaining about the lack of a double dribble on Bailey, and I think he may be right. And there's a lost ball out of bounds by Purdue. Indiana will have it. 12 turnovers now on Purdue. Todd Leary will check back into the IU lineup at 64-55. A 9-point IU lead with 9:06 left, and Damon Bailey gets a rest. Todd Leary replaces him. Greg Graham will inbound to Leary.
Bailey has 6 assists in this game.
Back to Graham, and Graham across the timeline. Greg toward the left side, on the wing, looks down low, gets it to Matt Nover. Nover turns around. He clears it to Brian Evans. Evans down low to Calvert. Calvert. Oh, what a beautiful pass to Matt Nover for an easy basket. 12 points for Calvert Sarah for Matt Nover now. What a feed. Here's Robinson inside, and he threw it away. Here's Calvert on a break to Greg Graham. Puts it up, and no good but a foul. Link Darner will be called for the personal, but Calvert Chaney made the pass of the ball game. Moments ago, an unbelievable no-look behind the back bouncer to Nover for the easy layup.
And he did it with 3 men surrounding him. They are absolutely collapsing on Calvert anytime he gets the basketball down under.
Well, what a feed as Greg Graham now goes to the line. Greg at the stripe has 16, but none here in the second half. He misses the first one there. That's the first miss from the line in this ball game. He'll have one more shot coming. He can make it a 12-point Indiana lead if he hits number 2, and he does. 17 now for Graham. Indiana on top, 67-55. Their biggest lead of the second half. Link Darner almost traveled. The Hoosier fans thought he had. The official says no way. Here's Cuonzo Martin in backcourt. Martin spins, drives it in, and they're going to call a foul on Leary. Gene Cady pacing up and down on the bench there in front of the Purdue bench, screaming at the officials, and they call the foul on Todd Leary. So Leary gets nailed in his first personal. Ball will go out of bounds to Purdue. That's 14 fouls against IU. The inbound pass comes to Darner. Darner to Painter. Painter top of the key. Down inside to McNary. Fires it up and missed it. The rebound, Matt Nover for Indiana. He clears to Leary. Back the other way, time. Slows it in backcourt. Slides it to the top of the key. Drives it back to the right side of the wing. Then bounces to Greg Graham. Graham, top of the lane. Looks inside. Goes to Evans, left wing. Down low to Nover. Nover lost the handle out of bounds. Ball will belong to Purdue. And timeout is called with the score. Indiana 67, Purdue 55 with 7:54 to go in the basketball game. We'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
Remember the first grade? 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 2 is 4. It was all so simple. Not anymore. Appreciation, depreciation, computers, ever-changing tax and business issues. Put a CPA on your team. Today's certified public accountants are masters in the art of science, maximizing the potential of your money and improving profits. Contact a CPA in your area or the Indiana CPA Society. CPAs make a difference.
If your car does this, pick up the nearest phone and do this. That's 1-800-LET-NAPA. It's your direct line to the location of the nearest Napa store. That's where you get high-quality parts, plus the advice you need from the Napa professionals. So when you need to hear this, just remember to do this. 1-800-LET-NAPA. Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
A Sunday afternoon in Bloomington, Indiana, with Indiana leading Purdue in the arch rivalry battle, game number 2 of the season, and the Hoosiers hold a 12-point lead, 67-55, with 7:54 to go.
Well, Indiana has hit 16 of 20 free throws in this game. However, in this half, they've hit only 4 of 8. They must shoot good free throws if they're to pull this thing through, because Indiana first went to the line at 12:21 on a 1-and-1, so they will have played the last 12 minutes of this game on 1-and-1, so you know they're going to be shooting a lot of foul shots as this game progresses on. Purdue, as yet, has not gone to the foul line in this half at all. Matt Nover now with 7 rebounds leads Indiana, while Robinson with 10 leads the Purdue Boilermakers.
Out of the floor, IU has Greg Graham, Todd Leary, Matt Nover, Calvert Cheney, and Brian Evans. Purdue has Glenn Robinson, Matt Painter, Link Garner, along with Porter Roberts and Cuonzo Martin. Glenn Robinson's been out there chatting with Matt Nover, and all Nover keeps doing is smiling at him.
Yeah, he laughed big at whatever he said. I didn't sense Robinson thought it was all that funny, but Nover's reaction what thought it was.
All right, here we go. Purdue basketball. The Hoosiers lead by 12. Martin with it to Painter in backcourt. Painter drives it off to Robinson. Robinson back outside to Roberts. Roberts drives it in the lane. And a whistle. And the foul. Todd Leary just picked up number 2, I believe. Foul call is on Todd Leary. That'll be his second of the ball game. Ball will belong out of bounds to Purdue. 15 foul whistle against the Boilermakers. Indiana's already at 10. Or 5th foul whistle against IU. And Purdue's already at 10. Here's a jump shot up by Roberts. No good. Batted out. A whistle. And a pushing foul. Who? Calvert Cheney? Calvert Cheney just got nailed on number 4. So Calvert Cheney with 14 points and 4 personal fouls. So Cheney can't afford another, or he's gone. 7:35 to go. Bob Knight not sending anybody to the sideline to check in. So Calvert's going to have to watch himself here. Cuonzo Martin will inbound. Indiana still by 12. Martin will inbound it. He looks, gets it into Link Darner. Darner fakes, then drives it back outside. Darner circles to the right. Pulls up on the wing. Stops and clears to Porter Roberts. Roberts lobs it low, and it's batted away by Nover. Nover to Greg Graham. And here's a knock away by Martin, and he's called for the foul. Cuonzo Martin gets nailed on the personal. That will be his 3rd of the ball game. And they'll go to the other end for free throws. 2 of them will be coming to Greg Graham. 67-55, Indiana by 14, and a chance to take it up, or 12 rather, a chance to take it up to 14.
Well, Indiana's biggest lead was 15. About 3 minutes to go in the half.
So Graham fires the first. It's good. Greg has got 18 now, and he'll have one more shot coming. It's 68-55 with 7:21 remaining. This Hoosier crowd gets very quiet. Graham eyes number 2. And got the roll. Greg Graham now has thrown in his 19th point of the ball game. 69-55, IU by 14. Backcourt dribble, Porter Roberts to Glenn Robinson. Robinson holds in backcourt. Starts his dribble right. Still in the move to the top of the key. Pulls it back out. It comes to Darner. Darner goes left to Painter. Painter looks inside. Gets it to Cuonzo Martin. Turns, fires it up, but a whistle. And the shot's going to count. Let's see on who. It's Todd Leary again. Leary gets nailed on the foul, and Cuonzo Martin will go to the line with a chance at a 3-point play. That's 27 points now for Cuonzo Martin. That's got to be his career high.
At one point, he had hit 8 out of 9, Don. He hit the last 4 shots he took in the first half. He missed a shot to start the second half, and then he hit 4 in a row.
And he eyes the attempt here. Up it goes. It is good. And Cuonzo Martin continues his hot hand of the day. 28 points. 69-58. The lead cut to 11. Here's Leary in backcourt on the dribble. Gets it up court to Greg Graham. Graham takes it inside, and he is fouled by Matt Painter. So Matt Painter gets nailed on the personal. That'll be his 3rd of the ball game. And Indiana again will go to the free throw stripe. 69-58. IU an 11-point leader as Leary goes to the sideline and Damon Bailey comes back in. Bailey, 7 points in this contest. And none here in the second half. 2 shots coming here to Greg Graham. So Graham at the line with 19. The first attempt is in the air, and it is good. 20 points now for Greg Graham, who has made a living from the stripe this afternoon. He connected on 10 for 10 of the first half, and he misses that one. Nover goes for the rebound, knocked away from him. Glenn Robinson comes up with it. And he has hit 4 out of 6 in the second half. Robinson with the ball to Darner. Darner left side to Martin. He drives baseline, puts it up, no. And a foul called, and I think they just fouled out Calvert Cheney. Calvert Cheney has just fouled out of this one with 14 points. So Bob Knight took a gamble, left him in, and Calvert goes to the sideline with 5 personals. So the Hoosier scoring leader is out of this one. Todd Leary will come in to replace him. So Calvert Cheney to the sideline. Pat on the behind for Bob Knight. The Hoosiers lead is at 12, 70-58 with Cuonzo Martin, who has been the big gun this afternoon for Purdue. 28 points for Cuonzo Martin and a chance for 2 more right here. First is in the air, and it is good. Martin, nothing but net on that one, gets his 29th point. Man, does he having himself a day. 1 more shot coming to Cuonzo Martin. His previous career high, 25 against Minnesota. That second shot is also good. It dropped through, and he's got 30 points. So Martin with a new career high. 70-60 the score. Indiana 10-point leader. Here's Todd Leary bringing it up the floor across the timeline. Takes it left to Greg Graham. He fakes the 3. Pulls it out to Damon Bailey. He goes back to Leary. Leary looks it right. Gets it right to Brian Evans. He turns inside on standby. Cuonzo Martin fires the shot up off the glass. No. Almost hit the top of the backboard. Here's Robinson. It's stolen away by Brian Evans from behind to Greg Graham. 4-on-1. Graham to Evans. Up and in. Brian Evans with his 17th point. He made a mistake with his shot, but he made up for it with a steal. Here is Cuonzo Martin. Outside to Darner. A 3 on the way. He missed it. Rebound Robinson inside. Puts it back up. It's knocked away and stolen. Indiana has it. Todd Leary out with the ball. 72-60 IU. Leary inside to Bailey. Bailey takes it out to Evans. 3 on the way. No good. High off the rim. The rebound Damon Bailey, and a foul call on Bailey. Bailey got nailed in the personal, his 3rd of the game, and Damon wasn't the guy who knocked the Purdue player down. It was one of Purdue's own men. But Bailey was the closest IU playing there, and he's going to get nailed in the foul. That's 3 on Damon.
Well, that was probably a poor shot selection on the part of Brian Evans. Indiana would have preferred, I think, to work off some more clock without taking that shot.
So Matt Painter will go to the free throw line. Painter has 8 points all in the first half, all fairly early. Good free throw shooter, and he drills that one. So Matt Painter now has his 9th point of the ball game, and he'll have 1 more shot coming. 72-61. If he hits this one, it's a 10-point ball game again. Eyes number 2, and it's no good. The rebound batted out, and Glenn Robinson got nailed in a foul. Reached over the back of Brian Evans. So Robinson now has picked up his 4. So Glenn Robinson with 4. And they go to the other end as Brian Evans, I believe, will be at the stripe 1 more time. 5:42 to go. The Hoosiers certainly not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but they're playing pretty well. And star Calvert Cheney has fouled out of this one with 14 points. He fired, Brian Evans misses this free throw short badly. Evans, who's got 17 points in this ball game, that's really been the only flaw in his game recently other than a few freshman mistakes. But his free throw shooting has struggled.
He really has. He started so strong at the beginning of the year. He was really the kind of guy you wanted to go to the line, but recently he has been missing them. Indiana now is 7 of 13 this half.
Darner and Roberts both to the sideline for Purdue. Matt Waddell is back in along with Stanback. At the line, Brian Evans fires it up, and this one drops. Evans now has 18 points. And that is a new career high for Brian Evans. 73-61. Indiana by 12. Painter with the basketball. Looks for Glenn Robinson. Couldn't find him on that possession. Gives it to Waddell. Off to Cuonzo Martin. Martin back out to Painter. Painter back off to Martin. Down low to stand back inside. And it's stand back kicks it outside. The ball batted up in the air by Greg Graham out of bounds. It'll belong to Purdue. 5:20 to go. Inbounding will be Cuonzo Martin for Purdue, the Boilermakers basketball. Martin looks, finally gets it into Painter. Painter fakes the three and pulls back outside. Painter drives, cut off, kicks it out to stand back out to Robinson for a three try, and it is no good. The rebound to Brian Evans. Evans clears to Todd Leary. Evans came down and hurt himself. Here's Damon Bailey driving all the way. The ball batted out of bounds. It'll belong to Indiana. Brian Evans came down funny and is shaken up a little bit. Evans strained a knee, look like, but he's all right. He hangs in. Bailey inbounds it to Brian. Brian drives it in the paint, pulls up, scoops it up and in. Brian Evans with his 20th point. 75-61. Here is Waddell. Indiana by 14 again. The inbound passer, stand back, fires it up, no good. Tip up, no. Tip again, no. Finally, Brian Evans pulls it out of there. Evans to Greg Graham. Graham quickly down the floor. Off to Damon Bailey. He fires a three-point bomb. It is no good. And the high rebound comes off the stand back. Up the court to Waddell. Waddell. He lets it go inside the Painter. He fires a shot up and it goes in. Matt Painter got one off the front of the rim to roll through. He's got 11. 75-63. Graham the other way. Greg all the way puts it up and a whistle and a blocking foul. And stand back, I believe, just fouled out of the ball game. That will be his fifth. So stand back to the sideline. And he finishes the ball game with 4. That'll put Porter Roberts back in the lineup and Greg Graham at the free throw line.
Stanback had 9 rebounds while he was in there, 2 of 3 from the line. So Purdue now having some problems also. They've lost Stanback and they've got Robinson playing with 4 fouls. Of course, Cheney's already on the bench with 5.
Greg Graham at the stripe. 20 points to his credit. He fires this one good, and now he's got 21. Graham has made a big-time meal tonight at the free throw line. He has just 2 field goals. Both were 3-pointers, and the rest are free throws, and he now has 22 points. He hit them both. 77-63. Indiana on top. Left side dribble, Porter Roberts gives to Matt Painter. Painter right side to Robinson. Glenn Robinson drives. The ball stripped away, and Bailey just got nailed on another foul. Bailey has picked up number 4. Bob Knight looks down his bench. Pat Graham played significant minutes in the first half, but has not seen any playing time in the second half, nor has Chris Reynolds. And Calbert Cheney on the sideline is done for the day as well. Calbert played in about 25 minutes of this one, and that's about it. Glenn Robinson at the lineup, and he fires it in. Robinson has his 19th point of the ball game. He'll have one more shot coming. Robinson fires the second, and it is good. Robinson's got 20. Now it's 77-65. Greg Graham with the basketball. Brings it down the court, and a blocking foul is nailed on Porter Roberts. And a tech. Porter Roberts just got a technical foul. So Roberts picks up his first foul of the ball game and now make it 2 as he picks up the technical. And it put Greg Graham at the free throw line. Purdue is down 12 with 4:02 to go, and Greg Graham with 2 shots coming here, the first of which is good. Greg Graham now has 23 points in the ball game. And 18 of those, I think it's 17, have come from the line, and now he's got 24. So Greg Graham will shoot again. Porter Roberts to the sideline. Link Donner comes in. Graham fires the 3rd free throw, and he drills it. And he's got one more coming. He's got 25 now. And he's looking for his 20th point from the line alone. He hits it. 26 points for Greg Graham, and 20 of them have come from the stripe, and the Hoosiers are leading it by 16. Leary to Bailey. Damon to Brian Evans. Evans drives at baseline. Cutoff, fires, misses, got his own rebound, bounce it out. Damon Bailey comes up with it. Bailey outside to Greg Graham. Graham drives it in the lane. Bounces it outside, and they're going to call traveling. Bob Knight did not like that last shot that Brian Evans took. He forced it. And Indiana right now is an 81-65 leader over Purdue with 3:46 to go. We'll be back after the 60-second break. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
I stopped in a muffler shop the other day to see about their so-called guaranteed muffler service. What I saw was this guy offering me the same muffler he had just put on a 1959 Packard. Come on, not all cars are the same, and neither are their muffler systems. A muffler and exhaust system is an important part of your car's performance. At Jim's Tune-Up Center, their muffler service might cost you a little more. But when you leave, you're going to have a big A muffler designed especially for your car or light truck. And it's going to be warranted for as long as you own that car. That's Jim's Tune-Up Center in Monticello on 1st Street under the big smokestack.
You know, it seems like these days it's not easy to find a good home-cooked meal at an affordable price. That is, unless you've been to Kim's Kitchen. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Kim's Kitchen can have a hot, home-cooked meal ready for you in minutes at a price you can appreciate. Kim's Kitchen is a friendly place where you can always find a clean table and timely service. And the best part, a home-cooked meal that you don't have to cook. Try Kim's Kitchen today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Kim's Kitchen just south of Monticello, next to the Madame Carroll.
Right now is on top of Purdue, 81-65 with 3:46 left. Timeout was called at the most inopportune time for Brian Evans, who obviously put up a very, very poor shot on the last time down the floor. And the timeout was called right after that, and Brian is hearing an earful here in this timeout.
Well, I don't think that's the first bad shot selection he's made. He probably took a couple earlier than that. I think that was the last straw, so to speak. Indiana has scored 14 of their last 19 points from the free throw line. That's just how important it's been. And as you have described, Greg Graham has been absolutely super. Indiana has hit 26 out of 36 from the foul line. Purdue has hit just 12 out of 15. So Indiana has taken 17 more foul shots than have the Purdue Boilermakers. Indiana's hit just 11 baskets in this half, as have Purdue. So both teams scoring about the same from the field, but it's at the foul line where Indiana has its lead.
I think you just saw an admission by Bob Knight of what Brian Evans is, a freshman. He pulled him out of the huddle there as they came back onto the floor, slapped him on the back of the head and said, "You're playing great, but you got to quit putting up some dumb shots." Here's Martin driving in, puts it up, and he scores. Martin very easily takes it up inside for his 32nd point. Indiana the other way. Here's Todd Leary, baseline, jumps it out to Damon Bailey. Bailey now on the left wing with 3:25 left. Takes it to Todd Leary again. Leary guarded by Martin. Todd spins in backcourt, pulls it down to the left side of the wing, baseline dribble, brings it back outside, drives it into outside to Matt Nover. Nover now looks it in, bounces it back outside. Not sure what's going on.
They had Bailey wide open. I was trying to help him point. I'm sorry I distracted you.
Whatever the case, we've got a foul called on Purdue's Cuonzo Martin. That'll be his fourth. So Martin now has picked up number 4. Boy, has he been a thorn for the Hoosiers today with 32 points. His previous career high, as we said earlier, was 25. Damon Bailey is being talked to by the official. I think somebody may have ran into Damon on purpose. Whatever the case, Leary at the line. Fires up the free one, and Todd hits it. Todd's first point of the ball game. He'll have one more shot coming. 3:05 left. 82-67. Second shot of the year, good. Leary hits them both. Indiana's up 15. Make it 16 with 3:03 to go. Waddell, left side drive, takes it, brings it, looks for help now, having trouble. Crosses out to Glenn Robinson with a pass in backcourt. Back to Waddell for a 3 try. It is no good. The rebound scramble for Purdue comes up with a long board. Robinson's got it. He drives on Nover, takes it up inside and threw up an air ball. Rebound pulled out of there by Damon Bailey. Bailey Brings it off to Todd Leary, and you know Robinson's going to get the air ball call for the rest of this ball game. He jumps it to Greg Graham. Graham now on the left side of the backcourt, on the dribble, out to Nover, now outside to Todd Leary again. 2:26, the Hoosiers using the clock. Evans to Leary. Leary again drives it right, pulls it back out. Leary on the move, turns around, gets it to Damon. Damon against Painter. He drives it across the lane, brings it back outside. Now, Damon drives it inside, scoops it off, and threw it away. Martin intercepts. Martin the other way. Takes it into Robinson, who puts it up and missed the shot. Offensive foul. Oh, one official called the charge. The other one calls the block. Bob Knight doesn't say a word, just walks all the way down to the end of the floor and looks back at the official. So Todd Leary just got nailed in his fourth foul. So Glenn Robinson will go to the free throw line. Robinson at the stripe. Indiana leads by 16 with 2:01 to go. And the Hoosier fans start the chant. Pat Graham's going to come back in here in a moment. Free throw by Robinson is good. Glenn Robinson has his 21st point of the ball game. Here comes Pat Graham in, and Matt Nover goes to the sideline. And that's obviously for offensive purposes, because Graham could shoot the free throws, and Matt Nover struggled with that part of his game this year. Here's Robinson's second toss, rattles home, and Robinson now has picked up his 22nd point. Here's the pass back, Leary to Evans, back to Leary. Leary works it down the floor against Waddell. Has trouble, kicks it out to Greg Graham across the timeline. Nice play. Greg Graham now is fouled. Graham ripped it out of there, and he will go to the line. Painter is called for the personal. That'll be his fourth. Two players have fouled out in this one. Calvert Chaney with about 7 minutes left. And Ian Standback fouled out moments ago as Nover comes back in for Pat Graham now. Greg Graham will go to the free throw line. Greg has hit 20 points from the stripe today, 26 points totally for the ball game. He eyes the first, it is up, and it's in. Greg Graham with 27. His previous high this year was 22, and I think this might be close to a career high. He drills it. Greg Graham now has 28. 85-69, Indiana. Waddell, left wing dribble, bounces to Matt Painter. Painter takes it left, pulls it back out, looks for help, clears it to Cuonzo Martin. Martin backs it out of there. 1:35 left. Off to Link Darner. Darner drives, gives it to Martin. He tries to move on Evans, puts it up inside to Robinson for a slam dunk. And what do we got? A technical foul. Robinson gets called for a technical foul, I believe, for hanging on the rim, Max.
I think so.
Showboat move?
Yeah, I think so.
So 24 points for Glenn Robinson, and he has fouled out. So Glenn Robinson will leave with his average 24.4 in the season. Robinson fouls out of the ball game with that technical, also considered a personal this year. So Robinson goes to the sideline, and Herb Dove will come in for Purdue. Indiana sends in Pat Knight for Damon Bailey. Well, Robinson has not endeared himself to Hoosier fans here today.
He had 14 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal to go with some 9 of 22 shooting.
And Greg Graham just hit his 29th point. Graham shooting the free throws. I'm running out of space for Greg. Fires the second one good. He's got 30. That's got to be a new career high for Greg Graham. Greg Graham with 30 this afternoon. The Hoosiers with the basketball, and now they lead at 87-71 with 1:27 to go. And coming in for the first time in this ball game for Purdue is Todd Foster, a 6'1 freshman out of Washington, Illinois. Pat Graham will inbound. He gets it in to Brian Evans. Evans on the dribble, turns around. Kenny Williams is also back in. Here's Pat Graham driving, bounces it low and threw it away. Purdue has it. Dove to Matt Painter. 1:18 to go. Here's Painter on the left side. Looks at left, circles it, gets it to Darner for a 3 try, and he buries it. Link Darner, Kansas' first field goal of the game, a 3 here at the end. And we're going to have the whistle as the ball got away. Indiana's Brian Evans will inbound. He gets it to Greg Graham. Graham will bring it up. Gets it across the timeline to Brian Evans. Evans gets it to Greg Graham in backcourt. Graham spins down in the lane, passes out to Evans, who goes back to Leary. 52 seconds on the clock. Leary on the dribble, turns around, bounces to Greg Graham. Graham turns around, and he was fouled. Herb Dove apparently called for the personal as Greg Graham gets up slowly with 30 points. And Greg's previous high was 25 against Ohio State on the 14th of last year in January '92. So that was last season, his career high of 25. Graham with 2 more coming. Up in the air it goes. Got it again. 31 now for Greg Graham. Looking for 32. And he got it. 32 points for Graham. It's 89-74. 44 seconds to go. Painter drives inside, puts it up, and it is slammed home by Herb Dove. Dove with his first 2. Pat Graham will inbound. Gets it to Greg Graham. He turns, looks up court, gets it to Todd Leary. Leary almost lost it, got it back, drives it down the floor to Brian Evans, back to Todd. Todd across the timeline to Graham inside, up and there. Pat Graham scores his 4th point. 91-76, 18 seconds left. Foster the other way to Painter. Baseline drive, inside spinning move, shot good. Matt Painter now has got 13. Brian Evans will inbound. 5 seconds to go. The inbound to Pat Knight. He turns, he drives it right. 2 seconds, 1, lays it up at the horn, and he scores! Pat Knight throws it in at the horn. The Hoosiers beat the Purdue Boilermakers here at the Assembly Hall in Bloomington. The final, 93-78. Indiana over Purdue in this second meeting of the arch rivals in the Hoosier State this afternoon. We'll be back to recap it for you after we pause for the 60-second timeout. This is a network break.
The game's heating up, Bob. Look at that. I don't believe it, Bob. The coach is bringing in a Canon NP6060 from Copyright. A Canon NP6060, Bob? The copier that shoots a copy a second. Holds 6,100 sheets of paper. And has Copyright's exclusive total lifetime coverage. With service in 4 hours or they pay you. And a lifetime money-back guarantee. No wonder Copyright's Indiana's biggest. Copyright. The smart choice. That's the Canon NP6060 from Copyright. Put it on your office team. Call Copyright and do it today, if not sooner.
University Broadcasting Company is proud to bring you IU basketball. University Broadcasting serves Indiana with the finest in sports radio. University Broadcasting Company operates 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations, including WHHH, Hoosier 96 in Indianapolis, WBWB, B97 in Bloomington, WGCT in Ellettsville, and WAZY, Z96 in Lafayette. University Broadcasting Company is Indiana's radio broadcasting company. Thanks for listening.
Well, back at the Assembly Hall, where Indiana has won over the Purdue Boilermakers this afternoon in this arch rivalry battle, the second meeting of the year, and the Hoosiers win them both as Indiana topples the Boilermakers 93-78 to remain unbeaten in Big Ten basketball action with a 13-0 record now in the conference. They are now 24-2 for the season. The Boilermakers fall to 15-6 overall, and they stand 6-6 in Big Ten play. A game that was very important to this IU ball club, if for nothing else, for the important effort in turning in a victory against a tough group of young men from Purdue without the services of starting forward Alan Henderson, who was sidelined with a knee injury on Friday. And to that extent is all we can basically tell you, because they're going to play it by ear to find out whether or not Allen will be able to rejoin this ball club at some point before the season comes to a close. Whatever the case, Indiana does win it today, 93-78 over the Boilermakers, and let's look at the individual scoring in this contest. First of all, for Purdue, Matt Waddell did not score today. Matt Painter had 13. Ian Standback had 4. Glenn Robinson had 24. But the leading scorer today for Purdue was Cuonzo Martin, who had a sensational performance, a career-high 32 points for the Boilermakers today. Porter Roberts did not score. Kenny Williams did not score. Cornelius McNary and Todd Foster did not score. Link Donner had 1 3-point field goal for a 3-point total, and Herb Dove had a field goal for 2 points. So the Boilermakers were led by Cuonzo Martin with 32, 24 for Glenn Robinson, and 13 for Matt Painter. For Indiana this afternoon, Chris Reynolds did not score. Damon Bailey had 7. Matt Nover with 12. Calbert Cheney had 14 and fouled out with about 7 minutes left in this contest today. Calbert playing only about 25 minutes in total because of foul trouble. The high scorer for the Hoosiers was Greg Graham, who had a sensational day at the free throw line. He scored 32 points in this contest to equal Cuonzo Martin's game high, but 26 of those points came from the free throw line. He missed just 2 all afternoon. So Greg Graham by himself today had 26 of 28 from the stripe. That is some kind of performance. Brian Evans had an excellent effort as well. 20 points today coming off the bench. Pat Graham had 4 points in his first appearance since Florida State, 3 games into the season back in November. So Pat is back, and at least for a limited playing time stint, as far as the Hoosiers are concerned here in his first time back. 4 points for Graham. Todd Leary with 2, and Pat Knight sealed the victory with a big basket at the end here this afternoon. And he threw it up right at the buzzer. It went in, and the Hoosiers counted it for their 93rd point of the ball game. So again, 93-78 the final. We'll be back to take a look at the scoring for Purdue, or rather the individual statistics in this ball game, as well as team stats after we pause for the 60-second timeout. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Have you ever thought about how much work your brakes do every day? You know, the average set of brakes stops your car safely over 100 times daily, and that's not counting when you slow down. Your safety, as well as the safety of your family, depends on your brakes. That's why Jim's Tune-Up take a great deal of pride in providing the very best in brake service. All brake jobs include a complete 4-wheel check and turning of the drums or rotors if necessary. And you can even get pads that are guaranteed for as long as you own that car. See Jim's Tune-Up in Monticello today on 1st Street under the big smokestack.
You know, sometimes you just don't feel like cooking. That's okay, though. Kim's Kitchen is close by to cook for you. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Kim's Kitchen can have a hot, home-cooked carry-out meal ready for you in minutes at a price that won't make you regret it. Why cook when you don't have to? Call Kim's Kitchen and order a carry-out meal that'll please the whole family. Kim's Kitchen just south of Monticello next to the Madame Carroll. Call ahead for carry-out. That's Kim's Kitchen, 583-3391. Kim's Kitchen.
Well, back at the Assembly Hall, where Indiana is a 93-78 winner this afternoon over the Purdue Boilermakers, as the Hoosiers maintain that unbeaten status in the Big Ten at 13-0. Max, look at those team stats this afternoon.
Well, Don, the team stats are very even for the most part, with the exception of free throw shooting. Both teams shot nearly right at the 50% mark. In fact, Indiana was dead on it, 26 of 52. They hit only 13 of 28 in the first half for 46%, but were better in the second, hitting 13 of 24 for 54% to give them that 50% for the game. Purdue, on the other hand, shot 51-9 in the first half on 14 of 27, were 16 of 32 in the second half for 50%, giving them a 30 of 59 in the second half for 50.8%. From three-point range, Indiana really opened things up in big order, hitting 6 of 9 three-point shots in the first half. Second half, they cooled off considerably, hitting only 1 of 6. They end up 7 of 15 for the game, 46.7, and that's still better than their season average or Big Ten average. So their shooting from three-point range was excellent this afternoon. For Purdue, they shot 2 of 5 in the first half and 2 of 9 in the second half, giving them a 4 of 14 for the game, and that would be right around 33% for the game, and that's a little bit less than they've been shooting on the season, as they were hitting nearly 38% from three-point range. But it was at the free throw line where Indiana did them in, and mostly Greg Graham did them in. Indiana was 12 of 12 in the first half. They were 22 of 28 in the second half, giving them 34 out of 40 from the free throw line, 85%. That is well above their season or Big Ten average. For Purdue, they shot only 17 free throws. 14 of them they hit, 82.3%, but they were outscored by an even 20 points from the free throw line tonight. From rebounding, Indiana was out-rebounded by Purdue by a 34-28 margin. First half was fairly even. Indiana with 14, Purdue with 15. But in the second half, Purdue got 19 rebounds compared to only 14 for Indiana for that 34-28 margin. The turnovers, 15 turnovers for Purdue and 11 for Indiana, although the Hoosiers did turn it over 7 times in the second half to go with just 4 in the first half of play. Individually this afternoon, Calbert Chaney finished with 6 out of 8 from the field. He had 14 points. Matt Nover finished 5 of 7 from the field. Greg Graham took 7 shots, missed 2 of them. What poor shooting on the part of Greg, I say jokingly, because of course his free throw shooting was absolutely outstanding. 26 of 28 and 2 of 3 from three-point range. Matt Nover finishes 5 of 7 from the field. Chris Reynolds missed his only shot. Brian Evans was 7 of 16. He put the ball up twice as much as any other single player for Indiana. Todd Leary was 0 for 1, Pat Graham 2 for 3, and Pat Knight hit the only shot that he took. For Purdue, Glenn Robinson 9 of 22, just exactly the same as he was in that first game. But Cuonzo Martin did a job today for the Boilermakers, 12 of 15 from the field. Ian Standback 2 of 3. Waddell missed all 4 shots he took. Matt Painter was 5 of 9, including 2 three-point shots, the very first 2 he took, to give Purdue one of its early and only leads. Herb Dove was 1 of 2, Link Darner 1 of 4, McNary, Porter, Roberts all missed the only shot that they took. Rebounding this afternoon, Glenn Robinson finished with 11 rebounds. Indiana's leading rebounder in the game was Matt Nover with 6 rebounds. I'll make that 9 rebounds. He had 6 defensive rebounds, 3 off the offensive board. There was a couple of blocks in there for Indiana by Chaney and by Brian Evans. Steals, Indiana stole the ball 9 times, with Damon Bailey getting 2, Greg Graham getting 2, and Brian Evans getting 2. Robinson made 2 steals for the Boilermakers. Matt Painter had 7 assists in this game, and Damon Bailey had 6. He is Indiana's leading assist man, and he certainly got the job done here this afternoon. Well, Indiana trailed in the game a couple of times. They trailed initially by a score of 3-0, then went up 4-3. They were down 7-6. They finally took their lead at 21-18 when they ran off 10 straight points, and then went on a 16-2 run to build it up to 12 points. And at the halftime, they were up by 8. Indiana then shot an awful lot of free throws. Their biggest leads on 3 occasions, make that 4 occasions, or 3 occasions, was 16 points, 81-65, 83-67, 87-71, and they win it by 15, 93-78.
Well, Indiana wins its 29th straight ball game here at the Assembly Hall this afternoon. A couple notes that Joe Smith passes along. Greg Graham's best career from the line previously was 13-17 against Kentucky his sophomore year. Today, 26 out of 28 from the stripe. An amazing performance from the line. And his previous career high, 25 points today with 32.
So he shot more free throws and made 4 free throws than the entire Purdue team.
And this is the 3rd best performance from the free throw line by an IU team. They're, as far as numbers are concerned, 34 today. Their best was 37 against Murray State, 35 against Northwestern. So obviously Indiana has a new single game record?
New single game record. Don Schlunt had hit 25 in a game back in 1955, and so Greg Graham takes that record away from the late Don Schlunt.
So Indiana gets a big performance out of Graham today, as well from Brian Evans, and everybody on the ball club contributed once again. That's, of course, what Bob Knight is looking for from his squad, and he got it here this afternoon against the arch rivals from Purdue. So the Boilermakers now stand 6-6 as far as Big Ten play is concerned. They now are 15-6 overall. Indiana, a perfect 13-0 in the conference, 24-2 on the season. Our broadcast today has been brought to you in part by Indiana Gas. For efficiency, comfort, and a cleaner environment, natural gas is your best energy value season after season. By your local Napa Auto Parts store, Napa because there are no unimportant parts. By your local Amoco Certicare Repair Centers. By the Hoosier Lottery, where you've got to play to win. By State Farm Insurance and the more than 500 State Farm agents throughout Indiana. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By the real estate professionals at the 121 Century 21 offices in Indiana. By True Value Hardware. Got a tough job? You can do it with True Value Hardware stores. By Squadron Herbicide for a higher level of soybean weed control. And by Indiana's Rural Electric Cooperatives, consumer-owned for service excellence. Our special thanks to our studio producer, Gary Klein, to our statistician, Joe Smith. Now this is Don Fischer inviting you, along with Max Skirvin, to join us for the IU postgame show. Coming up next, we'll be rejoining you in just a couple of minutes. So long, everybody.
Exciting Indiana University basketball on the area sports leader, WNJY, Joy 103. Today's game is sponsored by Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler. Pepsi-Cola, gotta have it. And by Jim's Tune-Up Center on 1st Street in Monticello behind Hooks. WNJY Joy 103 is connecting on three-pointers all the time with a full slate of college basketball broadcasts and Carroll and White County High School games too, as called by the award-winning Joy 103 sports team. Sports is always presented professionally here on WNJY Joy 103. Why go anywhere else?
John Thacker brings the ball down for the Monon Railroaders and sets up the offense. 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter in Staggs Gymnasium.
Hello, basketball fans. This is John Westfall of the WNJY sports team. And you know, that's what it might have sounded like on the radio back in December of 1958 when the Monon Railroaders and the Monticello Indians got together to renew their annual rivalry on the hardwood.
Looking for an opening in that tough Monticello defense. Harmon bounces the pass into Pete Runk, and the ball is tipped and stolen by Paul Price. Price throws the outlet to Jeff Smithburn, and here come the Indians on the break. There's a quick pass to the side to John Solomon. He takes the left-handed jumper, and it's good. And the Monticello Indians have built their lead over Monon to 45-33 here with 2:42 remaining in the third quarter.
Wouldn't it be fun to be able to recapture and recreate some of those great moments of the past in White County basketball? Well, now you can by participating in the Memory Lane sectional tournament to be held at Twin Lakes the week of March 8th. Players from the communities of Brookston, Buffalo, Chalmers, Idaville, Burnettsville, Monon, Reynolds, Wolcott, Round Grove, and Monticello will again be battling on the hardwood. All players participating must have graduated in 1970 or before. All cheerleaders from the 10 former county schools are encouraged to participate also. Memory Lane sectional tournament will also feature a free throw contest and a three-point contest and should be one of the highlights of the current basketball season. The proceeds from the tournament will go to the Fisher Loring Scholarship Fund to benefit senior government students at the 4 White County high schools. So make plans now to lace up the sneakers and play in the Memory Lane sectional, or simply put on your old school colors and cheer for the hometown team. For further information, contact us here at WNJY. See you at the Memory Lane sectional in March.
Once again, this is Don Fischer and Max Skirvin with the IU postgame show. A review of today's game in which Indiana defeats Purdue 93-78. The final, as always, our guest on the postgame, Norm Ellenberger. And Norm, congratulations on the victory today. A little adversity stares the Hoosiers in the face again, however, but you were able to carry through.
Well, one more down and 5 more of those boogers to go. That's what we've got to go get on the road tomorrow. That's right. and then play the next day. So, but that was a great game. I think we would be really remiss if we didn't give Purdue a well. Boy, were they ready. I mean, that was a well-coached, hard-nosed, tough outfit today, and they played with great patience, and of course they had 8 days off too in between, and boy, Coach Katie had them prepared, but we managed to trick them again. So let's keep right on going.
One of the keys in today's ball game, I think, had to be the defensive effort on Robinson early. He got off to a couple of quick baskets, but after that, he was really not heard from again in the first half, and keeping him under control had to be a factor.
Well, if you're going to play Purdue and beat them, that's where you start. Certainly the other guys, as Martin proved, can go score, but you'd better load your, stack the deck in that direction. And we worked really hard in the time that we had in preparation of, wherever he went, he was to draw a crowd, and we had him doubled and triple teamed a lot of the time. But then, as good a player as he is, he got loose. You just can't hold a guy like that down the whole ball game. But it's like I think you said more than anything else. We go in the locker room not a comfortable lead, but with a lead, and got our whole ball club intact.
Obviously, you got into some foul trouble today. Was that a real concern at halftime?
Well, not really. We didn't discuss that. The big concern in halftime was come out and have another good start. This has been Coach Knight's really put it to our guys to have two good starts, one in the first half and one in the second half, and that was the main thing right there. They tried to come back out with a good start.
All right, we'll be back with Norm Ellenberger on our post-game show in a moment, but first, let's pause for the 60-second timeout.
The Hoosier Lottery reminds basketball fans that you have to play to win.
Well, with 2 seconds left, the All-Stars are going to have to get the ball to star shooter Swish Sampson. Dave the dribbler, Nelson inbounds, looking for Swish, but where is he? Oh, no, the Swishers on the sideline signing autographs. The All-Stars lose a heartbreaker, all because of a 7-foot ego trip.
Get in the game and win. Play the Hoosier Lottery.
Play the Hoosier Lottery's newest instant game. Crash the boards and pull down $1,000 instantly. There are 3 chances to win in this basketball game from the Hoosier Lottery.
University Broadcasting Company is proud to bring you IU basketball. University Broadcasting serves Indiana with the finest in sports radio. University Broadcasting Company operates 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations, including WHHH, Hoosier 96 in Indianapolis, WBWB, B97 in Bloomington, WGCT in Ellettsville, and WAZY, Z96 in Lafayette. University Broadcasting Company is Indiana's radio broadcasting company. Thanks for listening.
I'm not sure. Back once again on our post-game show. Norm Ellenberger, of course, our guest. Norm, we just talked a little bit about Greg Graham today. 32 points in the ball game. He had just 2 field goals. Both of those were 3-point field goals, and he was 26 of 28 from the free throw line, which is a new Indiana record as far as number of free throws made.
Wow, if we can keep the ball in his hand on the free throw line, nobody's going to talk about our free throw shooting anymore. And he camped out there, built a tent. But that was part of the plan too. Especially when Calvert was slowed down and then got into foul trouble, was try to keep the ball in Greg's hands as much as we could.
You had to have a step up from about everybody today. Alan Henderson went down on Friday with a knee injury. Again, we don't know the status of that fully at this point, but certainly it's not a good sign right now. But considering what the rest of the players had up against them, they came out and played pretty well.
Yeah, Evans, I thought he hit the first two shots of the... Evans did some interesting things out there tonight. Some of them good, some of them bad. If once he starts shaving, he'll be a heck of a player. He's still growing up. And then Nover, I thought, played really well. And Matt really gets excited, and he fumbled around a few times early, but he got so he could catch it. And then Larry came in off the bench and did a good job. And it was, as the rest of our season is going to have to be, and I guess what we've done up to this point, it's a 8 and 9 man thing, and we keep playing like that and shooting the ball. Well, we'll be all right.
You got Pat Graham back today. He gave you some productive first half minutes.
Yeah, Pat hasn't played any. He's worked in practice this past 3 or 4 days, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and but when. He really got well in a hurry when our big guy goes down. All of a sudden, there he is. He said, "Put me in, coach." So he's wanted to play for the last couple of days, and the doctors and trainers thought maybe we'll let him go. And I was really happy with him. He said he's really stiff back there right now, but he didn't have any pain in his foot. And as you go back through that locker room, and everybody's beat up. We've got 4 kids that have ice bags all over them. Damon and say Larry's got a problem with his knee, and Greg Graham's dragging his foot around, and we're beat up a little bit, but we don't have to play till Tuesday, so.
Norm, what was the mood of the team after Henderson went down and you're getting ready for this thing? Could you sense any change of any kind?
Well, first of all, it ruined practice. I mean, not that that's any big deal, but when he got hurt, it was right into the middle of practice, and that was all for that day. You can box him up and get on for the next time. And then the next day, what really helped everyone was Alan's attitude. I mean, he came back, he was over here, and the doctors were talking to him, and they still didn't really know exactly, how deep the injury was. But he had lightened up, and he was smiling, and that really helped our whole ball club right there. Then yesterday in the final preparation for this thing, boy, it was heavy around here. We had a long day. We didn't work the players that much, but the coaches, we were here all day trying to figure out what we were going to do with Robinson and what they were going to do, and then we got into today, and it was Alan was really light and fun in the locker room, and we're okay. We're over the hump.
You, speaking of what you did ready, you did an awful lot of switching underneath there. At times, it almost looked like you were playing a zone underneath.
Purdue runs, as we related to earlier, Purdue runs as good at offense as there is in the league, and as far as movement is concerned, and they set lots of screens, and they were as prepared as they were. We were afraid that we couldn't handle them just straight man-to-man, so we switched a little bit more than we. But then too, we're playing 4 little midgets, basically, and 1 big guy, and so we can switch without losing too much size-wise. Because we're little to begin with.
Big win for you here at home, Norman.
Well,
you got to have those.
Yep.
Obviously, Norman, you don't get a lot of rest. This is probably one of those times when you play 2 games in 3 days.
Yeah, I just thought of something. The best line I've heard in a long time. We're sitting there, we're looking up, and there's 4 minutes to go in the game, and Calvert and Chris Reynolds and I were all sitting down toward the end of the bench, and Chris looks at Calvert and he says, "Calvert." And of course they're roommates, and Chris orders Calvert around a lot too. We don't know that, Anyhow, he says, "Calvert, I don't want to ever, with 4 minutes to go in the game, I don't want to ever see you sitting beside me here on the bench."
Well, that's something I think we should point out too, because Calvert sat a lot today about only 25 minutes playing time.
Yeah, we could have played him earlier, and Coach wanted the team to grow a little bit. He wanted them in that first half. We could have played him a little bit more, but he wanted these guys to see if they could reach back and dig one out themselves without him, because as thin as we are, everybody's got to get their oar in the water, and it's was a good thing that we were home to start this thing with, and it helped it helped for us to play without him and play well.
Norm, we appreciate you joining us on the post game as always. Go congratulate and enjoy this one for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. No, we're done enjoying it already because we're leaving tomorrow.
All right, Norm Ellenberger on our post game show. We'll be back with some final thoughts right after we pause for the 60-second timeout.
Why is Pizza Hut America's favorite pizza? The Pizza Hut secret is simple. Dough made fresh daily. Tangy sauce, 100% real cheese, and mouth-watering toppings.
Making it chewy, making it hot. Tangy and tasty, melting on top.
Every year, Restaurants and Institutions magazine hires independent research firms to poll thousands of Americans about their dining experiences. And for 7 years in a row, America's favorite pizza has been Pizza Hut Pizza. So when you're hungry for pizza, choose America's favorite, Pizza Hut Pizza.
Mountains of toppings making the meal. Thick and cheesy, gooey, steamy, oh what a deal. Pizza Hut, making it great.
For the final time today here at the Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana wins it 93-78 over Purdue. This afternoon, Cuonzo Martin had 32 points to share game-high honors with Greg Graham for Indiana. Also in double figures for the Boilers, Robinson with 24, 13 for Matt Painter. The Boilermakers go to 6-6 on the year in the Big Ten, 15-6 overall. Indiana now 13-0 in the conference season and 24-2 on the regular campaign. 32 points today for Graham, as we said, 20 for Brian Evans, his new career high, 14 for Calvert Chaney, and 12 for Matt Nover.
And speaking of Greg Graham, his 26 free throws today is a new Indiana record and Big Ten record. The old one was held both by both the Indiana record and the Big Ten record was held by Don Schlunt back in 1955. So Greg Graham writes himself into the Big Ten record books as well as the Indiana record books. He upped his free throw shooting percentage by 3 points today. That's just how well he did. He's now 70 of 81 on the season. Indiana's bench scoring today, outscoring Purdue 28-5. So that's, again, a big contribution as Purdue shot 49% for the game. Indiana shot an even 50%.
So the final again, 93-78. Indiana today over Purdue. The Hoosiers next up on Tuesday night when they take on the Ohio State Buckeyes at St. John Arena in Columbus. We'll have the broadcast for you starting at 7:10 with the Bob Knight pregame show. The tip scheduled for 7:35. Until then, for Max Skirvin and Joe Smith, don't forget tomorrow night's Bob Knight Talk Show from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 to 7 over most of these same stations throughout the state. We'll be joining you on Tuesday, and as well as the Bob Knight Show pre-recorded tomorrow night. Hope you'll join us for that. So long, everybody.